We thank you for staying tuned here on your platform of choice, Bluffhill SDA Church. We kick off our programming at 1400 hours, 2 p.m. with Dr. Pastor Mbiriri in the Journey of Life series. Thereafter, at 1500 hours, 3 p.m., it's time for Spiritual Matters with Pastor Kachairo and Tim. And thereafter, to wrap up our Sabbath programming, we have the Strictly English Speaking segment with Pastor Dr. Mbiriri, who takes us into the end of Sabbath programming this afternoon. We hope you have been blessed. Stay tuned.
Si anon shamisa, anon di shamisa ini, anon di wiga mubakore nombo, kunenzi zidero faro, anon di wiga mubakore nombo, rino visa nyota yese, awiga Fukita ini Dina muponesi ano shamisa Ano reruta mitoro Ano nimisa di zoteneki Die ano di pasimba Ano niwiga mubakore dombo Rino visa nyota yese Awiga upendo muruna wake Ofukita neruoko Anondi fukita ini Guatese anondi komorera Dozanzwa nembiri yake Biri kuna marindo muimbira Ndiye mununuri wangu Anondi wiga mubakore nombo Rino visa nyota yese Awiga upenyu muruna wake Ofukita neruoko Fukita ini Kutinda feka mbiri ndozo kwira Tokumba naye makore Rupone sorudo runo shamisa Toimba tese kulenga Kutinda feka mbiri ndozo kwira Tokumba naye makore Rupone sorudo runo shamisa Toimba tese kudenga Anoni wiga mubakore dombo Rino visa nyota yese Awiga upenyu muruna wake Ofukita neruoko Anondi fukita ini Anondi wiga mubakore dombo Rino visa nyota yese Awiga upenyu muruna wake Ofukita neruoko Anondi fukita ini Anondi fukita ini Anondi fukita ini Anondi fukita ini
Welcome, dear brothers and sisters. This is our program, once again, The Journey of Life, and we are thrilled, we are delighted that you chose to be with us at this time. My name is Mbiriri. I'm a pastor and also the anchor for this show, and I have no doubts in my mind that this will be one of the most edifying episodes from this program. And so please sit back, relax, share the link, invite somebody to watch together with you. We are pleased today because we have a very wonderful guest, an important guest, somebody who's dear to me and my family also. This is none other than Pastor Dr. Onias Musa. Doctor, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this program. I want to greet our viewers and listeners. Pastor Musa, they call me Onias Musa Jr. I'm married to one wife.
Yes.
And I have 2 kids. Those are the most important things about me.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. And you bring us, you know, in this, the episode has a unique title, From the Septic Tank to the Boardroom. Yes. You know, it's a unique title that we have today. From the septic, yes, septic tank, you heard me right. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the septic tank. The real one. From the septic tank, can you imagine, to the boardroom? Oh, that's intriguing.
Yes.
That's quite an intriguing title, and so on. So, of course, you've already told us that you, Pastor Onias Musa Jr., you have one wife, 2 wonderful children.
Yes.
And we praise the Lord for them. May you tell us just a little bit more about yourself so that, you know, we get to travel on the journey with a better understanding of who we are.
Thank you, Dr. Mbiriri.
Yes.
I am one of 26 children.
Ooh.
I have 25 siblings. I grew up in a big family.
Wow, 25 siblings.
25 siblings, not from one mother, of course. You know, I went to Nyazura, fond memories there. And I'm a pastor at heart, a pastor by calling, a teacher by training, and a CEO by default. Wow.
You know, an educator by training, a pastor by calling, CEO by default. I would love to have that kind of default. You know, I hope I'll learn how to get that kind of default setting. To be CEO, that makes one a CEO. And so, you know, you will, you know, I'm going to put you on the spotlight
Sure.
on this one.
Please.
And because I think this is an important part of what we're going to talk about today. So please, this is true, this is reality. You know, Pastor Dr. Musa is a person who has not been lazy around books. You've been, you know, a bookworm.
A professional student.
A professional student.
Yes.
Yes. So, with your permission, I'm
Please,
going to share
indulge.
with our viewers some of the things that you have done so far with regards to academics. So, Dr. Musa first graduated from college at Solusi in 1995, where you graduated with a double major, that was education and theology.
Yes.
Wow, double major, wow. Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. Yes, so that was 1995. And then, after that, after you moved to the United States, because currently that's where you live.
Yes.
After you moved to the United States, he studied with Lake Michigan College from 1999 to 2000, and getting an associate degree in business management.
Yes.
And then after that, he did a master's in business administration at Bethel University. That was 2000 to 2002. And then after that, you took a long break. That is from 2002 to 2011.
Yes.
And this is when you were working, also supporting your wife who was studying. And in the process, you also became CEO. And after this period, you then went back to your ways of studying.
Yes, sir.
And enrolled for a PhD in technology leadership administration. Technology leadership administration.
Technology, leadership, and innovation.
And innovation. Oh, yes. Technology, leadership, and innovation. You know, some of these degrees, they are even just to read the name. That was Purdue University 2016.
Yes, I'm a boiler maker.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
a boiler maker, and I'm proud to be a graduate of Purdue.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. At Purdue University. And then after that, you enrolled for a master's in public health.
Yes.
MPH with Adventist Institute of Advanced Studies
Yes.
in the Philippines. And you just have one more credit
one more
before you
credit to
finish
finish.
this one.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, it's real. It's real. And then after that, 2018, you did a graduate certificate in fundraising and fundraising.
Yes.
I never knew there was something called fundraising.
Well,
You're the
Pastor,
first person bringing this to my ears.
It's out there. Before you raise money, you got to raise friends.
Okay.
'Cause friends give to friends.
Okay.
People give money to people. So you got to develop those connections before you start asking for money.
Okay.
So that's the concept.
That's the
behind
concept.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. That's it looks like, sounds like Christ's method of winning
Yes.
souls. You would befriend and be there with them, and then you would say, follow me.
Exactly.
Okay, that's
Yes.
the same kind of concept.
Yes.
Honestly, it's my first time hearing that there's something called friend raising. Then fundraising. Fundraising I've heard.
You've heard
but
of
friend
fundraising.
raising. Yes, so that was with Indiana University,
Yes.
2018 when you finished that program.
Yes.
And then after that, you went into Master of Arts in Applied Behavior Analysis.
Yes.
Finishing that in, this year, 2021.
Yes.
You wrote your last final exam in this just recently.
Yes.
And then also finishing a postgraduate certificate in autism this year.
Yes, sir.
And still with the plans to do one or two more PhDs, you know.
Yes.
So this is quite phenomenal.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Other
Thank
than being, outstanding, it's also quite astounding. You know, it's both. It's not just outstanding, but also quite astounding for somebody to, it's quite something. What pushes you to do so much?
Well, thank you for that question, Pastor. I think my background,
Okay.
coming out of, 26 children, growing up, my mother would say, if you do not go to school, you will have to, work, manual jobs. And
Yeah, they say if you have a mind that's weak, then you need a back that's strong.
Exactly. So, we used to wake up every day at 1 a.m. to go to the fields.
Wow.
Every day, and then at 6 a.m., you go bath in the stream, on the way to school.
On your way to school.
Yeah, and then you go to
Yes.
school, and then after that, 3 o'clock, you're back on the farm. If we had equipment, that would have made it easier. So I felt like I gotta go to school so that I can, work on the field because I want to, not because I have to,
Not
so that I can get food to eat. Yeah. So I think that was one of my my drives, and I'll give a lot of credit to my mother,
Oh.
who would always say, if you have 2 eyes, 2 hands, and 2 feet, you cannot beg. So
There's no reason to beg.
There's no reason
because
to
you're
beg.
equipped enough already.
you have enough to meet your needs.
To meet
and
your
I want
needs.
to challenge people out there who may be in situations like mine, 26, 25 siblings, and you feel you're in a dead end. A dead end is a good place to start.
Oh,
When you hit
okay.
a rock bottom,
Yes.
that's the best place
It's
to
a firm
build
platform
your
for you to launch
foundation.
from.
You can put your foundation right there.
Okay.
So I want to challenge young people out there who feel, there are no opportunities out there. Opportunities lie in the impossible zone. Opportunities lie in areas where there are problems. When you try to solve a problem, you are creating solutions. So that's what drove me.
So
to be
where there
I
are
am.
problems, and then if someone comes with a solution, that's where opportunities
Look at
happen.
Facebook, look at
Okay.
internet. They were trying to solve a problem.
Okay, yes.
Look at aeroplanes. They were trying to solve a problem of, people would spend 5-6 months, moving from one continent to another. And they didn't want that. So they wanted to solve that problem.
To solve that problem.
Then they created
and
an
voila,
airplane.
that's
Yeah.
where it all happens.
Exactly.
Okay, yes. Yeah, because I think that's quite deep, Because one of the challenges, I guess, is that we look for a job or look for employee. We are not hired because you need a job. You are hired or rewarded for the solutions that you bring.
Yes.
Yeah, not because you're broke, therefore someone gives you a job.
No.
I mean, what value?
Yeah, what value can you bring?
Yes, what value are you bringing, and so on.
And also one thing that I learned is I never want to find an opportunity and find myself underqualified.
Oh, okay.
So when they want an associate degree,
Yes.
I want to walk in with a bachelor's. When they want
Okay.
people with a bachelor's degree,
Yes.
I want to walk in with a master's.
With a master's.
When they want somebody with a master's, I want to walk in with a PhD.
Wow.
When they want somebody with a PhD, I want to produce several. So that you
So they
cannot
pick
have
the one they want.
an excuse not to hire me. So that's part of my drive.
Wow,
Yes.
wow, that's amazing. So we want to walk this journey together, Dr. Musa, to really see how did it happen? What challenges growing up? You've already given us like a sketch of your family background. You come from a background where, I mean, you have 25 siblings.
Yes.
I mean, what kind of experience did you have as an individual growing up? What challenges did you face? What obstacles were in your way? What difficulties did you experience as a person? Some siblings might not have experienced the same, but you are speaking for yourself as a person.
So I think if you say what obstacles did you find in the way, there were obstacles all over.
Okay.
Yeah, my whole environment was full of obstacles. I mean, when there are 26 of you, you're going to have to
Did you
struggle.
guys live in the same place?
Yeah, we were in the same sort of compound, or
Okay.
my guru, my nini.
Okay.
We were just right there.
Okay.
And polygamy has its own challenges.
Okay.
But I think one lesson that our mothers taught us, my mother taught us is, it's not you who is in polygamy.
Okay.
It's me and these ladies and our husband.
Oh.
You are all children.
Oh,
So when
okay.
you see some of my
siblings
from other mothers, you would not even know that they are not my,
okay.
because of that relationship.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I mean, just think of school fees, coming up with school fees for that many children. That was a challenge.
Okay.
So, and having enough food for so many people, that
Wow.
was
So
a challenge.
like things like so those basics,
Those
like fees,
basics, yeah.
food.
So go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
Stay at the bottom, right there at the bottom, the physiological needs.
The physiological. I saw the millennials. They
Yes.
put another one below physiological needs, and they say Wi-Fi.
Yeah, yeah. They have added Wi-Fi and probably WhatsApp too. Yeah.
Before physiological needs. Yes. Let's go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so really, I realized that I may not be able to go to school
Okay.
and attain the education that I need to free myself from this background.
Now, so how did you come to that kind of realization? Were there school terms when you faltered in paying your fees, or what? How did you come to that realization?
So if I go back to the first primary school that we attended, from grade 1 to grade 5.
Yes.
that
You
was-
must have been a whole clan.
Oh
in
yeah,
that,
there were many of us, but some were still younger,
Okay.
and some were a little older.
Okay.
But they used to have what they called building fund.
Okay.
And it was paid per family. So then they would just pay whatever, $5. It covers the whole family. But then as I started looking into the future, I realized that this is going to be a challenge.
Okay.
I may not go to the best schools that I may want to go
Okay.
to. So when my father told me, well, you can go to Nyazura Mission
Okay.
for grade 6 and stay with a relative,
Okay.
I saw a great opportunity right there. So, when I went to Nyazura, I started working
Okay.
in people's homes, helping them, clean their gardens, build fowl runs, plant their fields, harvest,
Okay.
doing all these things. And having been taught to be faithful,
Okay.
I would do my job to the best. So all
Okay.
the teachers wanted me to work for them
Oh,
because
is it
they
so?
knew that
You're on demand.
I was on demand. I would do a good job. And I remember
I think before we move on, please don't forget the next point that you're
Yes.
coming to. But, as you are speaking, Bible verses are coming to my mind.
Yes.
When the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 9 verse 2, whatever your hand finds to do,
do it with all
do
your
it
might.
with all your might.
Yes.
And then in the book of Proverbs, which says that, do you see a person who does their work well? That person will stand before kings
Amen.
and not ordinary
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Yeah, so it seems like it's resonating with what you're saying.
Yes, I've stood before kings,
Yeah.
you know, and because of that work ethic.
Okay.
Because when you work hard, people will notice you. It doesn't matter where you are. So I remember I built the first foul run, and I was paid $2.50. And that was a lot of money. 85.
85.
That was a lot of money.
Wow.
And
I was in grade one.
I did it. Oh yeah. I think I was somewhere grade 6, grade 7.
Okay.
I did it so well that other teachers would see that
Okay.
foul run and be like, "Who did this for you?"
Okay.
And the next one said, "I'll pay you $5." The next one, "I'll pay you $7."
All
So
right. Now
I
it's
started,
like a bidding now.
it's now
for
a
you.
bidding.
Okay.
And then from there I started raising my own school fees. So at 6th grade I started paying my own tuition.
Is it so?
Because I could afford it. Was $20.
Okay.
At Nyazura Mission, for primary.
All right.
So that was the drive.
You were in primary school and already paying.
Yep.
I mean, working to pay your own fees.
Yeah, I could afford. I could work in the garden, people's gardens, people's fields, do things and make enough money, buy my own uniform, pay school fees. I was good. So that helped when
Okay.
now I moved to Form 1.
All right.
Because remember, there are 25 of us.
Yeah.
My father could not
All
really
right. All right.
afford, maybe to pay for all of us. I think he could have afforded, he could have struggled too, but I felt I could do it.
Okay.
So I started working for school fees
All right.
through the school
Okay.
every holiday. From Form 1 to Form 4, I never went home
Oh.
for holiday.
Is it so?
Work at school, any building that was built at Nyazura Mission from 1985
Okay.
to 1990. Either I formed the bricks or I was a darker boy.
Wow.
Or I dug the foundation. So,
Is it so?
yes, sir.
Like which buildings can you see in your mind?
I can tell you all of them,
okay.
except, the Mbiriri block, the Form
Okay.
4 block,
Uh-huh.
the office, the
Mbiriri
administration.
block looks quite like it's one of the old ones.
Yeah, that was built 1944.
Oh,
So the
okay.
administration block,
Okay.
we formed the bricks.
Oh, the
We-
administration block.
Yes.
Is it so?
We dug the foundation.
Okay.
They would put builders at the corners and put a line, and we would,
Okay,
build,
okay, all right.
in
You
between.
lay the bricks
Yes.
in the middle.
The library extension.
Okay.
The A-level blocks.
Okay,
The
yes.
A-level dormitories.
Yes.
Most of the
I used
girls'
those.
dormitories.
All right.
Yes. All the houses at the back when you're coming into the mission.
Yes,
The workers'
yes.
houses at the back.
Yes, yes.
We built those. We formed the bricks. I mean, I could name half of the mission.
Yo.
We
Wow.
we formed the bricks. We worked as dagger boys or the build assistants and
Yes.
all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, were there other students also like in this kind of work program? Was it like a work program?
It was a work program through
Okay.
Mr. Mosha. It was a very beneficial program.
All right, all
And I want to
right.
believe our education then developed the head, the hand, and the heart.
yes.
Because we were doing all these things and it was practical. And we also go out to build churches and schools
Okay.
out there. So there were a lot of us. I mean, I could name several. Some of them are now medical doctors.
Yes.
Some of them run their own companies.
Wow.
But yeah, that's how we made it through school.
Oh, wow. So, is it easy? Was it easy, or it was structured in such a way that one could do? Because it sounds like back-breaking, work, and then to be able to focus also on your studies and to concentrate and to move on.
So I think in life one has to learn that there are certain prerequisites.
Okay.
Yeah. While we may look at it as back-breaking, but that back may need to be broken
Okay.
before the head can open up to
Okay.
get knowledge.
All right.
All of us who went through that program, none of us are struggling in life.
Is it so?
All of us are doing very
Became
well.
self-sufficient.
Yes, and that propelled me when I went to Solusi because now I could work, I could do anything.
Okay.
At Nyazura we were, emptying septic tanks. I guess that's where the title
septic
comes from.
tanks to the boardroom.
Yes.
From the septic tank to the boardroom.
We
yes.
would actually just dig a hole, a big hole
Okay.
next to the septic tank.
Okay.
And then we would open a hole at the bottom.
Okay.
Probably the Department of Health would not allow that to happen today.
Okay.
But back then, we could do it. And so you open a hole
Okay.
at the bottom of the septic tank. And you have to be very careful. You have to time it, because if you delay, the stuff is going to rush.
Because it's under pressure.
It's under pressure, so it's going to rush
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
and,
so the moment you know
okay.
you weaken that hole, you quickly
Okay,
jump
all right,
out
okay. Before it explodes on you.
before it explodes on you. So
Wow.
that helped us to be ready to do anything. And so when Solusi came along, it was
Yes.
easy. And how I got to Solusi is another story.
Okay,
probably for
yes,
another
yes.
day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to come to that.
Okay.
I'm going to come to that. So, what are the maybe personal challenges were part of your experience? Did you have like challenges with maybe your clothing or shoes and everything? Of course, fair and fine, you were, working and paying for your fees and so on. But did you have any disadvantages or some other things that maybe you envied that other classmates had or schoolmates had that maybe you couldn't afford at the time?
Well, our classmates always had more of everything.
Okay.
Because they came from probably well-to-do families. But I had a very good supporting group of classmates.
Okay.
Such that going to church, I would borrow a jacket because I was a deacon.
Oh.
And
a deacon in a borrowed jacket.
Yeah.
Okay.
People actually thought when they saw the owner wearing the jacket, they thought that owner had borrowed
From the deacon.
From the deacon. So we did a lot of borrowing perfume, so that we can smell good as you are,
yes.
helping people to take their seats.
Yes, yes.
I borrowed almost everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Almost everything.
And there were friends who were kind.
There were friends, who were
Yes.
kind.
It's
And then when
supportive.
schools closed, people would leave pieces of soap or anything.
Oh,
We would gather all that.
Oh.
So that we have maybe a bag full of small pieces of soap.
Okay.
So that we can wash our clothes. So you get enough, of leftover pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing, would be wasted.
Nothing would be wasted. But I never looked at that as an obstacle. I looked at that as an opportunity.
Okay.
Because every day I would be moving, towards my goal to better myself and be independent.
Or to better yourself. And so, where did you get, no one can do that unless they have great determination and resolve to really achieve great things. Did you have a role model? Was it because of what your mom taught you? Where did you get the inspiration or the quest to seek education and to want to do more to achieve like this?
That's a good question. I would say it anchors with my mother, but the late Mr. Mosha was very instrumental in identifying talent, identifying people who want to work, and channel them and put a hand around them and say, you have potential. You can do this. You can do better.
All right.
And I give him a lot of credit.
A lot of credit.
A lot of credit. Dr. Jonathan Mshoshi was one of those people again. When somebody believes in you, you cannot let them down.
All right. Oh, you cannot let them down.
You cannot let them down.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Now you want to really, prove your worth and, to show them that their trust is not misplaced.
It's not misplaced.
Their confidence is not misplaced.
Yes.
So, in other words, they're talking about maybe what we can say the power of mentoring.
Yes.
Or, yes.
I wouldn't be where I am without mentors like, Mr. Mosha, Dr. Jonathan Mshoshi, just the whole Mshoshi clan.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like I was being handed from one Mshoshi to another
is
Mshoshi
it
to
so?
another Mshoshi.
How was that happening?
Well, when I was at Nyazura, it was Dr. Jonathan Mshoshi who connected me to go to Solusi. When I went to Solusi, he said, there's Dr. Joel Mshoshi at Solusi. He will take care of you. When Dr. Joel Mshoshi was leaving Solusi, he said, there's Dr. D here. He will take care of you.
Yes.
When I left Solusi, I came back to Nyazura. There was Elder Moses Mshoshi.
Wow.
He was my elder. And then when I left Nyazura going to the States, Dr. Mshoshi was already in the States. Dr. Jonathan, he took me over, but he was leaving in about a week. So he left me in the hands of Dr. Nyasha Simba Mshoshi.
Wow.
So I had mentors that helped me to
like
get this far.
God, placed, certain persons at strategic points.
Yes.
To, help you and cheer you on.
Yes.
On your way.
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Recently, in the Olympics, that 2021 Olympics in Tokyo, Japan, there is this Jamaican athlete. So he somewhat got confused, got onto a wrong bus, and he was going for an Olympian, It's very important. Every
Everything
event
is important.
is very important.
And time.
Yeah, and time. So he got onto a wrong bus. It was going to a different destination. He only discovered, and it was almost time for his event, and he didn't know what to do. He was almost certainly going to miss it. But somebody saw them. I mean, this guy is stressed and everything, and he didn't have money on him. But this lady just helped him. Said, "Oh, here's money. You can get a cab. I think it will get you there in time." And so he did go, and he was there right on time. Went through, he won gold in that event.
Wow.
And after winning the gold, he did not forget.
That lady.
He went looking for that lady until he found her
Yes.
and presented the gold medal.
To
Said,
the
we
lady.
did this together.
Yes.
And of course, he gave her back the money and he really thanked her.
Yes.
So I think God does that for every one of us. If you look in your life, you will see that there are certain people that God placed at certain points, which when you close your eyes and you try to imagine
Yes.
how your life would have turned out without those persons being where God, placed them. I think we need to thank, to be grateful,
Yes.
and to thank God,
Yes.
and also to thank these people. Sometimes we wait until people are dead.
Then we
Then
have
say,
long
"Oh,
speeches
this
and
one."
nice flowers.
Nice
and-
flowers.
Yes.
Scattering the roses after people are gone.
Yes. So you make
know?
a very good point there, Pastor.
Yes.
That, we need to thank those people.
Yes.
But I want to appeal to those that may be strategically positioned
Yes,
to
to
help
help
others
others.
and be a mentor. They may not need your money, but they need somebody who puts a hand around them and say, I believe in you.
Yes.
And if you are the person, such a person, I want to challenge you today and say, dare to do right and dare to be true. For you have a work that no others can do. Do it so bravely, so kindly, and so well. Angels will hasten the story to tell.
Yes.
You will have footprints that will live long after you. I talk about Mr. Mosha. He's long
Yes.
late.
Yes,
But
yes.
you know what? I'm his product. I talk about Dr. Jonathan Mshosha and all these people. Those people at some point will exit the world stage, but their influence and their footprints will live forever.
Yeah, we'll live forever. That's right. That's right. Somebody said, capturing the same thought but in different words, that whatever you do for yourself will perish with you.
Yes.
Whatever you do for others will live on after you're gone.
After you're gone.
And whatever you do for God is forever.
Forever.
So sometimes, you bring out a very important point there that some of us, we are, are strategically positioned and capacitated,
Yes.
to help, to urge and cheer somebody on,
Yes.
on their way.
Yes.
But sometimes we hold on more than we should.
Yes.
We withhold more than we should. And we do not help where we could,
Yeah.
But, but that little help may be all that somebody needs to win that gold medal.
That sprinkle.
Yeah, that sprinkle.
Just that
and have
sprinkle.
people who believe in them. Sometimes it's
Yes.
not money.
No.
It's just that hand.
Yes.
Just, showing that you believe, you are going far. Keep on
Doctor,
doing this.
most of these people,
Yes.
they don't need what we think they need. They need mentoring.
Yes.
They need you to tell them, I believe in you. Because imagine if I were to do something crazy tonight, and I meet Dr. Chimuka, I meet Dr. Mshoshi, or whoever, and they say, young man, you have potential. I believe in you. Guess what? I'm making a paradigm shift.
Yes.
I'm making a 180-degree turnaround because I don't want to disappoint that
Yes.
person. So we want to be mentors. The church is strategically positioned to be a rich field of mentors, and let's take advantage of that.
To be a rich field of mentors.
Yes.
Yes, I remember in a conversation with one young man whose father decided that, he was done with the family and he literally chucked the family out. And he gives credit to men, fathers in the church, that they became my father. And, they provided that mentorship and they became the father figures to help this, young person on their way.
Yes.
So as you say that we are strategically positioned. So in other words, when it comes to church, we should come with our eyes even wide open
Yes.
to also see and notice
Yes.
the people who are in our congregations. And there may be needs, crying needs,
Yes.
that we may need to also, attend to. Tell me about how you went to Solusi you know, I think there's something quite interesting there.
Yes, so going to Solusi, I had finished Form 4, I was working at Nyazura just to
Yes.
raise money.
Yes.
And a certain gentleman visited by the name Mr. Mshonga from Blawayo.
Okay.
He had kids that were at Nyazura Mission.
Oh, okay, okay.
He was driving his Mercedes,
Oh.
he was pulling a caravan.
Back then?
This is in the 80s.
Wow.
So, he was well-to-do.
Yeah.
He didn't need anything from anybody.
Wow.
The gift of hospitality.
Okay.
Pastor Mshoshi in the morning came to his caravan and said, hey, would you like to come to my house to take a shower?
Okay.
And have a
That's
warm,
Jonathan?
Yes, Pastor
Okay.
Jonathan Mshoshi.
All right.
So the man went, with him to his house.
Okay.
Whilst he was taking a shower, Mrs. Mshoshi, Mrs. Judith Mshoshi prepared a meal for the man, breakfast. He wasn't expecting a meal when he came out of the shower, so they
Okay.
sat down and started eating. Pastor Mshoshi was playing music, so the man
Okay.
was like, hey, I would be interested in some of this music. So they
Okay.
talked.
I know he likes classic music.
Yes. So in the middle of that conversation, somehow,
Yes.
being a mentor,
Yes.
my name came up. He said, I have a young man who wants to go to Solusi, but he has no funds. And I'm really concerned about it. Just having a
Okay.
breakfast
all right,
discussion.
All right.
And the man said, where's the young man? I said,
Okay.
oh, he's here. He's working. I think I was working at the garden as a gardener.
Okay.
And he said, call him. I want to talk to him.
It's good to be found working. David was
Found working?
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
And Jesus never called people who were
No.
doing nothing.
No, you are fishing.
Everybody was busy.
He calls you doing something. So
Yeah.
anyway, he called me.
Yes.
And he asked me, why do you want to go to Solusi?
Okay.
I want to be a pastor. I want to help people.
Yes.
And he said, okay, here's my business card.
Okay.
You can apply to Solusi. Consider all your fees paid.
Oh.
Every semester, just tell them to send the bill to me.
Okay.
So I applied to Solusi. I was accepted. I gave them the information for my sponsor.
Okay.
And then something happened. I
Okay.
think my first semester, right in the middle of the first semester, they called me to say, you haven't paid school fees.
Okay.
I said, no.
No way.
You have my sponsor's contacts. They said, oh,
Yes.
it's our fault.
Yes.
You should have contacted your sponsor. So they contacted him, and unfortunately, some thieves had broken into his shops. He had some business, and his stuff was stolen. So his business had gone down. He managed to pay $1,500 towards my tuition,
Okay.
but that was enough to get me going. And this man, I was not a Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh.
He went to the Zayoja church.
Oh, you was a member of the. Okay.
Yeah, so
Zion
I
Church.
always tell people that I'm
Wow.
a Seventh-day Adventist pastor
Okay.
who was sponsored by a Zayoja man
Wow.
to be a Seventh-day Adventist
Wow.
pastor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when his businesses went down, I had to find a way
Yeah.
to
Okay,
move forward.
Okay, to move forward.
Now remember
but
those
he got you
skills.
going.
Yeah, he got me going because I couldn't have been accepted without a sponsor.
Okay.
Now remember those skills that I learned at Nyazura.
All right.
Working on the garden.
Yes.
I studied the same thing.
Okay.
And that's how I just went through being a janitor, typing people's papers. I can
Oh.
type very fast.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Throughout the night, I'm in the computer room. I'm a janitor there. I'm sweeping. After I'm done sweeping, I lock the doors. I'm typing.
Wow.
$1 a page. So at the end of the night,
I guess those were the days when we were still using MS-DOS.
MS-DOS.
That program would almost make you a programmer. So many commands you had to give commands for.
Yes, yeah. And after a night, I make $10, that night.
Oh, is it so?
Because I would type 10 pages.
Wow.
That night.
$1 a
editing, $1 a page.
Okay.
But I would do that every night except Friday night.
Okay.
Such that every week I was depositing
Yes.
$70, $100
Oh.
towards my tuition.
Wow.
By the time I get to the end of the semester, my school fees is paid.
Oh.
So that's basically how I went through Solusi. Going to places, canvassing, selling
Okay,
books.
selling books.
Trying anything. I would say anything that was legal and permissible
Yes.
to sell, I sold to make money so that I can go to school.
Anything you could do with a free conscience.
Anything,
Yes.
I remember there was a time
So, yes. Please go ahead.
a friend of mine, Sydney Zenda,
Okay.
we would buy cooking oil, sugar, salt,
Okay.
go to Gokwe,
Okay.
exchange
Wow.
with maize and
Okay.
sometimes mukwa, bring it to town and
Mukwa
sell
wood.
Mukwa wood.
Okay.
We sold pit sand, river sand,
Is it-
mukwa. We sold anything that anybody could buy.
Okay.
That's how we
How
went
are
through
you
solutions.
finding clients for these products? I mean, is it like a case where when you're doing something, you see an opportunity for something else?
Yes.
And things like that, and
Yes.
one thing leading to.
That's how it will
What they say in
happen.
Shona, mukutanda mapfeni ndo mukuona ndimo.
There you go.
Oh,
You
okay.
see something, you're doing something, you see something, and then you
Okay.
branch onto
There's
that,
an
and
opportunity
they
here.
tell you, oh, they need this. So we were just,
Okay.
shifting as
and
we were going.
maybe you supply river sand, then they say, do you also have quarry?
Yeah, then we're like, oh yeah, we can get you quarry. Then
Okay,
we go
okay, we
looking
can
for
get-
quarry, and then we bring quarry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you then have to crack your head and say, but where do we get the quarry from? Yeah.
You know, when there is a problem,
Yeah.
and you're determining to meet that problem or that need,
Yes.
then you find the solution.
You find the solution.
I want to appeal to people out there who say there is no work in Zimbabwe.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Oh,
no.
yeah. Talk to us about that one.
I am saying no.
Yeah.
Because, you can grow vegetables. There's plenty of water. You can mold bricks.
And land.
I mold bricks. I molded bricks. I can do it. I'm a little older now, I think. But I'm appealing to our young people out there. You can come together, 15 of you, 20 of you.
Yes.
Mold bricks, sell to someone. If you can't find a customer today,
Yes.
next week you find a customer.
Yeah, because the bricks will not rot.
They will not rot.
Yeah.
Our problem is we don't have that gift of delayed gratification. We can't delay.
We want
We want
instant.
now.
Okay.
So I want to challenge young people and say, look, there are multiple opportunities out there. Sometimes I visit young people. I'm in certain families, and I see young people who are just sitting on their cell phones.
Okay. Yes.
And I'm thinking, I look outside. There's water.
Yeah.
There's piece of land
yeah,
for
piece
garden.
of land for gardening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to my house. I have young people who are staying there.
Yes.
I have an avocado tree that's almost breaking into two.
Wow.
I said, I can load these avos and go to Mbiriri and sell them at wholesale.
Yeah.
They didn't see that. They were just getting one avo for breakfast or for lunch.
Wow.
So opportunities are out there. And they lie in the impossible zone. They lie where there are problems. How do I meet people's needs? You can do that. For example, typing people's papers.
Yes.
Some people could not type. I could type.
You could type.
That's an opportunity.
So you solve their problem.
Solve their
and
problem.
they happily part with their money.
Yes.
And
sometimes they give you a little bit of a tip.
Oh, even a little
Because
bit of a tip.
You have edited the paper, you have printed it, you have made sure that, all the margins, everything is fine.
Yes.
In doing that, I'm bettering my skills, typing and all that stuff.
Yes.
I self-taught my, computers.
Wow.
I'm self-taught. I did everything myself because I was trying to meet a need.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yes. I think to, my friends, brothers and sisters out there, there you are. There are all these challenges, and usually people say, well, I don't have, start.
Yeah.
We call it start in Shona.
Yeah.
Although start is not a Shona word.
But it's now
And normally
Shonalized.
It's now Shonalized. And so, but your mother said that if you have got your
2 eyes,
yeah, your
2
hands,
hands, 2 ears,
yes,
2 legs.
Yes. Then you have all the stuff you
Never
need.
be a beggar.
Yes, you
Yeah.
have all this. So maybe to some extent, or to a large extent, it could be a question of mindset. The kind of mindset
Yes.
maybe that we may entertain, which may cripple us more than anything else.
So I may see problems, but you see opportunities. It's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, a problem is an opportunity.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and many people miss the opportunities because, they come dressed in overalls and looking like work.
You've said it well.
And so I was like,
You have said it well. Yeah.
And so then end up missing these opportunities.
Yes.
And so, as so then you did your double major at Solusi. Why did you have to, do a double major when,
I have a passion for young people, and that was so deep early. I wanted to, because I had benefited from a mentor,
Okay.
I wanted to be a mentor to other people.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to work with young people and help them build a platform.
Okay, to build a platform.
Yes.
Wow. And, I think the first time that we met or we had an encounter was when you came. That was after your studies at Solusi.
Okay.
After you graduated from Solusi, and
Yes.
then you came as chaplain
Yes.
at Nyazura Mission.
Yes.
I was a student there then. I think when you came, you were a bachelor.
Yes. Yes.
And
I was single.
you married
Yes.
when you were staying at when you were working at Nyazura.
Yes.
Yes. And why I'm bringing up, that time. I remember very well. You spoke, I don't remember what the occasion was, but I think we're actually standing just outside and so on as students, maybe on a Sunday when it was work program, on Sunday, when we used to do that kind of work. And you said a statement that I'm not going to end the way I am today. There are more things. There's a way in which you articulated that there was a ring of determination and resolve in your voice, which made a lasting impression on me.
Oh, thank you.
So much that I didn't forget it.
You are so kind.
And
thank
you spoke, and I could see that, what the profile that I was reading here, tells me that you really meant every word you uttered there and that you said there.
Yes.
So once again, what was giving you that drive, that determination? What were you seeing then at that time that, I want more?
When you are dissatisfied with your current situation,
yes,
you cannot afford to maintain the status. You have to find a way to propel yourself forward. They say keep moving. When things are not working, keep moving. Because the moment you stop, everything stops.
Everything stops.
So for me, it was about my children are never going to live the way I lived. My children are never going to experience the problems that I experienced. And if I can on the way touch somebody's life.
Okay, that's the challenges you had in your background.
Yes.
You didn't want a repeat of that to your children.
No, I did not want a repeat of that.
So number one, you made sure you had one wife.
Yes, yes, that's very important. That's very important.
Okay.
Yeah, but also,
yes,
I wanted to look for people who are in similar backgrounds as I was.
Okay.
And show them that, hey, it's possible.
Okay.
This is not the end. This is the rock bottom. When you're building a house, you dig deeper. So that you get to the hard surface. So when you are down there, you are in the right spot.
Okay.
You are not standing on shaky
sand.
ground. You're not standing on sand. So I'm looking for those people that were in similar situations like me, and give them a push. Now, our young people today may not understand what a push is. I think that's what they call a start.
Okay.
I had a Peugeot 404 1974 model.
Okay.
Many a times it would not start.
Okay.
And I would just say to people, give me a push.
Give me a push.
Because if you can give me a push,
churu start,
then I will take over and I will go.
All right.
And I wanted to just give other young people a push. And so, without digressing, we have registered a trust, a foundation here in Zimbabwe called the Ubuntu Village.
Oh, okay.
Because we are saying, I want to give back.
Okay. All right.
I have to exit.
So you've done this like as a family? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Myself, I'm the CEO. My wife is the director of operations, and then our two children.
Okay.
Because we want to impart those values into them. The values of helping others. I want to exit the platform of this world, leaving it a better place.
All right, than you found it.
Than I found it. So that when I see somebody who is in a similar position like I was, that person can never say, I couldn't go to school because my father was not there or my father could not afford. I can help somebody with books, with uniform and tuition. So that drive to make the world or leave the world a better place is what still propels me up to today.
Yes. I remember the time we met for care meeting in the US.
Yes.
You talking about some of the initiatives and so on. I'm not sure whether it was through Ubuntu Trust or some other, but you were talking about initiatives giving back to Solusi.
Yes.
Finding books and other resources which would really help other young people who study with that institution or another institution that might be assisted and so on. Oh, so this is really, I think, something so important. And sometimes we may almost have a mentality that, well, maybe that's something for white people or for people from other cultures to do, to look back and to give back and so on. For us, ours is to receive. But there's a blessing in giving.
There's a blessing in giving, and when you give, you always get more. There's one step that I want to just highlight in 30 seconds.
Yes.
When we decided now we want to go to America, I did not have enough money to fly there.
Okay.
So I just told my wife
You were newly married?
Yes. In 12 months, we'll be leaving for America.
Okay.
And how did we do it? We started raising chickens.
Okay.
And we started having a garden. So we raised chickens. The chicken droppings, we'll put them in the garden.
Okay, in the garden.
And we had the best garden.
Wow.
And we saw the best chickens.
Wow.
Because of our gardening, because of our chickens, I raised enough money to buy my ticket to go to America.
Wow.
So to young people
Were you
out
doing
there,
this while you were working at Nyazura?
I was the pastor at Nyazura.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
To young people out there who say, oh, I don't have money to do this. I don't have start. I don't have a push. No. Raise chickens, you know.
Yes.
Have a garden.
You have a garden.
You can do it.
Yeah, people will tell you, come and get, suckers from a garden for free.
The suckers that I actually used in my garden, I got them from local people.
Wow.
And
people will be-
my vegetables were doing better than theirs.
Wow.
And they were asking me, Pastor, can we get your suckers because they look better than
They
ours? I
look
was
better.
like, you are the one who gave me these suckers.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. When you work at something and do it well.
Yes.
And so on and so on. I remember, flying into Kuala Lumpur at that time. And I was amazed to see all these palm trees. And I said, wow, as far as one could see, even as you were flying into the horizon.
It's just
said,
palm trees.
Yeah, all these, they're a big producer of palm oil.
Wow.
And then talking to some friends, Malaysian friends, so how do you do this? They said, oh, we got this from Africa, actually. We got this from Nigeria. We never used to have them here, And so I said, wow. And now we're importing from them the oil. So in other words, I think it's a mindset that we need to have, and then great things can be done. Definitely. Yeah, and can be achieved, and so on. So there's somebody out there maybe who's working hard, or someone who's discouraged about their situation, their circumstances. It's so difficult, maybe looking and say, oh, this one is fortunate, this one is lucky, this one is whatever, and so on. What would you say to somebody who's there? I know you've already told us that if you're right at the bottom, that's a firm place to establish your foundation. Any other thoughts, any other words of encouragement, for somebody who wants to achieve their life goals?
I would say, first of all, appreciate where you are and have a clear image and picture of where you are. If you have nothing, don't cheat yourself and say, I have much. Tell yourself, I have nothing.
Okay, because be honest to yourself.
Be honest to yourself.
Okay.
Because if you can be honest to yourself, then you can be honest in terms of where you want to be and what you want to accomplish. Okay. Because many of us live in dreamland where we think we have when we have nothing. So that's the first thing. Secondly, look at the people around you. Identify mentors.
All right.
Who are the people who can give me the right advice? Don't look for start.
Okay.
Don't look, because many people, I want start, I want capital. No. Find people, find mentors.
Go fundraising.
Yeah.
Not fundraising.
Raise friends.
Okay.
Get people who can support you in your endeavor.
Okay.
Once you get those people,
yes,
ask ideas from them.
Okay.
There's one thing that I've learned in life that at a certain point in life,
yes,
these people that have made it want to impart knowledge.
Okay.
They have a hunger and a thirst to impart knowledge. Sit down with them and ask them, how did you make it to where you are?
Okay, yes.
What did you do?
What did you do?
They want to share that story. And when they do that, guess what? You are building them a platform.
Yes.
And they will say, what do you want to do? Don't ask for money. Ask for ideas. I want to do 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Let them find you working.
All right.
Don't wait for them to give you something to work on.
All right.
Let them find you working.
You have to be in motion already.
Yes.
You have to be
Our young people there, out there in church, you have nothing. I was there. I know what that means. When I went to America, I had $35 in my pocket.
Wow.
But I think I am in a different position than that. The challenge I want to throw to you is start working today. Don't wait for opportunities to fall on your lap. You would rather be found by an opportunity ready than for an opportunity to find you not ready.
Not ready.
Because it will not come back again.
And you may not even see it sometimes.
You will not see it.
Many of the opportunities. Because yes.
Opportunities are problems.
Okay. They
need to be resolved.
And you will say, I have enough problems already.
Yes.
And here's another one. And yet it's an opportunity.
Yeah. So I could come to your house and say, Dr. Mbiriri,
yes,
I don't need your money. Can I just work on your garden? Can I just, work on your garden? You need
Yes.
vegetables. I can do that. I have the time. Okay.
Yes.
It's going to trigger something in you. You get interested in that young person and say,
Yes.
why are you doing this for me?
Oh, yeah.
So where's mom? Where's dad? Oh, mom is late. Dad is
Oh.
late. Oh, where do you stay?
Okay.
Oh, then you discover, oh, the
I
young
want to
man
see
is,
where you stay.
The young man is homeless. So then now you are on a mission to help the young
Oh,
man.
okay, yes.
Another thing also I would say is start small and simple.
Okay.
Because many people want to start big. No, start small and simple.
Okay, start
Get
small.
a bucket.
Yes.
Buy sunlight liquid.
Okay.
Get what do you call those washcloths that they use to wash cars?
Yes, yes.
Go around the neighborhood and
Okay.
introduce yourself.
Okay.
Happily, confidently.
Yes.
My name is so and so. Can I wash your car?
Yes. Okay.
Wash that car, get $1.
All right.
If you wash 5 cars, you have
Yeah,
$5.
$5.
When you come back next week, that
Yes.
person whose car you washed, they will not give you $1. Probably they'll give you $2.
And they'll bring their friend.
And they'll bring their friend.
Yes.
They'll say, come and see
Yes.
this young man who is doing these
Yes.
things. So start small and simple. You will make it.
Yes. Wow. Starting small and simple. And that's how great things always happen.
Yes.
As we begin small, we need to be, it's good to have big dreams,
Yes.
but be willing to start small.
Yes.
And then work towards, that dream and the realization of that dream. And so, we really appreciate and thank God for what he has done, taking you from the septic tank into the boardrooms.
Yes.
Can you share anything with us about the boardroom experience? We've heard about the septic tank.
It has
Yeah.
been a humbling experience.
Okay, yes.
My first job in America, I was a janitor.
Okay.
Then, because I've learned plumbing skills at Nyazura.
All right, in these septic tanks and so on.
I moved from being a janitor to being a plumber.
Okay.
We call it plumber, but it's plumber.
Okay.
Then, I just kept moving. Then, I did a nurse aid work.
Okay.
Then
Wow.
I went looking for a job
Okay.
with a friend. They were looking for nurse aides.
Okay.
But also they had 4 program manager positions.
Okay. Yes.
So I said, what are the qualifications for a program manager? They said, just a degree.
Okay.
So my friend and I went to the car and we completed our application forms. I said, why can't we apply for the program manager positions?
Okay.
And my friend said, oh, they never hire Africans here in America. I said,
Okay.
why? Well, they never, hire you as a manager. I said, you know what? I'm going to apply for a manager position.
Oh.
If I don't get it,
Yeah,
I
don't lose
didn't have it
anything.
in the first place.
Yeah, I didn't have it
They'll
in the
give me
first
the other
place.
job anyway.
Yeah.
So I applied for the job, and that was on Thursday. On Tuesday, I was called for an interview.
Oh.
So I went to, again, mentors. Dr. BZ, Dr. Chandasara, I
Okay,
asked, he had been a manager. I said, what does a manager do?
Oh.
The role of a manager, the role of a mentor.
Yes, yes.
Role of a mentor is
Mentor.
very important.
Yes.
And he walked me through 2 hours telling me what a manager does. I was
Okay.
writing.
Oh, okay.
I went for the interview, the first interview. I did very well.
Wow.
Because I had all these terms.
Okay.
That was with the Vice President of Operations.
Yes.
No, that was with the Vice President of Human Resources.
Yes.
Then the next interview I had was with the Director of Operations, who
Okay.
would be my supervisor,
Uh-huh.
and another program manager.
Yes.
So I would throw these terms and they would say, can you give us examples?
Okay.
I came short of that interview.
Wow.
I was short. I think I would give myself 10% for showing up and looking good. I did very poorly.
Okay.
But because the first one I'd done very well,
Okay.
the VP HR said, no, we have to hire the young man.
Okay.
I was hired in. This is another point, again, that I would emphasize to our young people.
Yes.
I would be in the office at 7 a.m.
Okay.
reading the policies and procedures.
Oh.
By 8 o'clock, when everybody rolls around,
Yes.
I have already read 3-4 policies. Now I am a step ahead.
Okay.
I'm sharing with them. I'm telling them, oh, by the way, policy such says
Okay.
this.
Okay.
They're all looking at me like,
Wow.
he's new. How did he get this?
Wow.
I was in that position for 6 months.
Okay.
Again, another lesson that I would give to the young people is be bold.
Okay,
You don't
be
lose
bold.
anything. Be bold.
Okay.
My boss started kind of being jealousy because remember I was doing my MBA and I was volunteering to be on committees and
Okay.
writing reports.
Wow.
I wrote a resignation letter.
Okay. So you don't have to wait for stuff to come.
Volunteer.
Be bold.
Be bold.
Volunteer. Okay.
Step out. So I wrote a resignation letter. I said, I'm leaving. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I had nothing. I had no other job.
Oh.
And I remember the CEO, the VP of HR, the VP of operations rushed to my office and said, what happened? They said, can you give us 30 days?
Wow.
30 days later, I was promoted to being the director of operations.
Wow.
It was just a learning curve. I was learning every day. And then a few years later, 4 years later, a competitor called and said, we want you to be our CEO.
Wow.
And I was like, is this for real?
That's amazing.
So I went there.
That's
Again,
amazing.
it was another learning curve, having
That's
to
like,
spend...
Joseph's experience.
Yeah.
Getting such high positions in a foreign land.
Yes, I became the CEO, and then another competitor said, we want you.
Wow.
I said, okay, how much are you going to give me? So they were just competing amongst themselves.
Wow, the bidding,
yeah.
which used to happen at Nyazura is happening again.
Now it's happening again. So, they offered me more money. I left. I was with them for, the other company, I was with them for 6 years, the other company for 4 years.
Wow.
Another company came along and said, we want you. I said, sure.
Yeah.
Tell me how much you want to give me.
Okay.
I kept on moving.
Wow.
And then I realized at some point I
Yes.
need to have something of my own.
Oh.
Because
Yes.
I am clocking in. I'm
Yes.
answering to someone.
All right.
So I left everything and started my own
Wow.
consulting.
Okay.
But it's all about being bold and being, starting simple, starting small, being bold and working hard.
And working hard.
Work hard. You don't need sleep.
Yes.
You can catch up on sleep.
Okay, you can.
Yeah.
You
You
can say, today I covered.
No.
You know?
No. So I'm now used to sleeping 5 hours a day.
Okay, all right.
That's good.
Okay.
And the next I'm trying to
working.
think, I have to work up earlier than everybody else. So that when we get in the boardroom, I'm thinking 2-3 steps ahead of the people that I'm working with.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
I have
also-
everything against me. I'm minority, I'm a foreigner, I have an accent, I'm black. But while that may appear like those are disadvantages,
Yes,
actually,
yes.
those are advantages. So I want to challenge the young people out there and
Yes.
anybody who is listening that what you see as a disadvantage,
Yes.
it's actually an advantage.
An advantage.
It's an advantage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Moses was a stutterer.
Yes.
He stammered and God said, that's what I want to use.
Yeah, that's what I want to use for
Yeah.
now.
So what you think is
Yes.
trash,
Okay.
somebody is being paid
Yes.
to process that trash. Somebody's getting biogas out of
Yes.
that trash.
Yeah,
Somebody's
into-
making money out of
Turning
scrap
the
metal.
trash into treasure.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
That's right. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time with us.
Thank you for
Pastor
having me.
Dr. Musa, and sharing with us the journey that the Lord has taken from the septic tank all the way to the boardroom.
Yes.
And saying that there's no excuse. Anybody can do it. It's no secret what God did for him. He has done for many others, and he will do also for you. What is it that you're struggling with? And what is your vision? I think one of the things is sometimes we're working so hard, but with no clear vision
Yes.
of what we want to achieve.
Yes.
So they say without vision, you need supervision.
Yes. And then you become a donkey who is being supervised,
Who's being supervised
by somebody else.
By somebody else.
Yes.
So, and also, you'd rather, so it's important to have a vision rather than television to young people out there.
Yes, yes.
So some young people, they lose their vision in the television. So we just want to appreciate it. It is possible. It can be done. And you have told us that Zimbabwe is a land of opportunities.
Yes.
But they come looking like work.
Yes.
And we end up missing out on those. We really appreciate, and I want to thank God for everyone. And before you go, you leave us with a blessing.
Yes.
I want you to pray for us, for somebody maybe going through difficult times and feeling discouraged, feeling tired, feeling like giving up in pursuing their life goals and their dreams. So may you pray, Pastor,
Yes.
that the Lord will really give strength and wisdom and to power this person through until they achieve what they are meant to achieve and be what they are meant to be.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Can we pray together?
Yes, thank you.
Father God in heaven, we want to thank you this afternoon You are a God of the lost, the least, and the lonely. You specialize in pulling people from pits and putting them in high places.
Yes.
That's what you do best. Even Joseph was pulled from a pit because you had a plan for him to be in the prime minister's office in Egypt. I know there are young people out there, there are some adults out there that are struggling with life. Probably they have reached their wit's end and they think and they feel there is no other way out. But Father God, help them to look up. Because when there is no way to the left, to the right, north, east, south, and west, there's always another way, and that's looking up. Father God, I want to pray for those young people that have reached a dead end, who have resorted maybe to using drugs as a way to soothe their pain and their sorrow. Father God, I want to pray for them that you may rescue them. I want to pray for some adults out there who have lost hope. They have been looking for a job. But Father God, tonight I want to pray today that you may help them to be job creators, not job seekers. I want to pray for this program that it may reach more people, that many people may have their lives edified because of this program. Thank you for our host, Dr. Mbiriri, and all the people that have come through this program. Father God, may this be a stepping stone. May this be a ladder. May this be a lighthouse that will help people to realize that they have potential. Thank you for hearing our prayer and even answering it before we prayed, because we have prayed in the name of Jesus. Amen.
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 Ndinoda kutaura kuti ndaponeswa ngero paro pamsana popemudza wake ndichagara kumushako ndaponeswa ngero para kerenyenye ndaponeswa sendichiri mwana wake ndinofara ngekuti Jesu auya kundiponesa ngekuti kupenya kwakeko kuri kunditungamira ndaponeswa ngero para kerenyenye ndaponeswa sendichiri mwana wake ndinotondera muponesi ndichiri kufunga ndiye ndiri kuimba nguva dzese ngerudo rukuru rwake ndaponeswa ngeropa rake renyenye ndaponeswa sendichiri mwana wake ndichamuona mambo wangu ndoita mutemo wake achiri kunditungamira dakara kumusha kwake ndaponeswa ngero para kerenyenye ndaponeswa sendichiri mwana wake chiripo chiremba kudenga chinondimirira ini tichaenda ngekukasika kumusha wake watenzi ndaponeswa ngero para kerenyenye ndaponeswa sendichiri mwana wake ndaponeswa ngero para kerenyenye ndaponeswa sendichiri mwana wake.
Vana vaMwari toda kutora mukana uno kuti tikuchingamidzei mose kose kwamuri pano paSpiritual Matters. Toda kutenda Mwari nekukuchengetai, toda kutenda Mwari nekutichengetawo isu kuno, toda kutenda zvakare nebasa guru ravari kuita mukati meupenyu hwedu, especially kutikudza mukati mekutenda. Tisati tatanga programu yedu nhasi, toda kukumbira kuti Pastor Mashinya vatinamatire, ngatinamate zvedu.
Baba wedu vari kudenga, tinokutendai, tinokumbira kuti muve pakati pedu pataakudzidza, mubatsire tose nevateereri wedu nevatariri wedu muzita raJesu. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Mashinya, tinokumbira kuti muchingamidze vateereri vedu nevatariri vedu.
Ndokuchingamidzai mose muzita raJesu.
Pastor Mkwada,
tinokuchingamidzai mose muzita raJesu.
Pastor Zvenyere,
tokukwazisai vatariri nevateereri kwese kwese kwamuri.
toda kutenda. Topic yedu yatiri kutarisa panguva ino inotiko human state in death, kana kuti chimiro chevanhu pakufa. Topic iyi yakakosha nekuti mukati meBible ine content yakawandisa. Mwari vakanyora zvakawanda mukati meshoko ravo pamusoro penyaya iyi. Saka isu takaona kuti zvakakosha kuti timboitarisa tiri pamwe chete, tizeye itiburitsire zvinofanirwa kuburitswa naMwari, tonzwisisa zvatinofanira kunzwisisa. Kana tichiti isusu human state in death, kana kuti chimiro chevanhu pakufa, Pastor Zvenyere, tiri kutaura kuti kudii?
Kana tiri kutaura nyaya yechimiro chevanhu pakufa, tiri kutarisa kuti kana munhu echirarama mararamiro ari kuita, haarambe echirarama.
Ichokwadi.
Uchasvike nguva yekunyarara, yekurega kufema, yetinoti kufa. Ndo zvatiri kunga tichireva.
Ndo zvatiri kutarisa. Pastor Mashinya, muda kuwedzera?
Yes, munhu kana tiri kutarisa kuti munhu anga achimborarama, kana achinge anzi afa, anenge ari muchimiro chakaita sei. Ndo patiri kuti human state in death, toda kuona kuti anenge ari muchimiro chipi, achiri kuziva here, ane zvaasi kuziva here, ndo patoda kutarisa.
Yes. Saka takanyanya kutarisa kuti munhu anga achirarama wazofa,
azofa,
ari muchimiro chekufa ichi, anenge akamira sei. Toda kutenda vanhu vambori nepfungwa dzakaita sei mukati mepasi panyaya dzekufa, kana kuti kana munhu afa. Pastor Mkwada,
vamwe vanotenda kuti mweya unodzokera kuna Mwari. Kana wadzokera kuna Mwari wakutofara iye naMwari nengirozi vari kudenga.
Saka ndevamwe vari kuti iko pangofa munhu chete atova naMwari, atiwo muupenyu usingaperi. Pastor Zvenyere, vamwe vanoti kudii?
Vamwe vanotiwo kana wafa wakaipa, munounganidzwa ndimo anhu anopinzwe mugehena nekusingaperi. Kumwe kufunga kwevamwewo.
Ndekufungawo kwevamwe. Zvinotendwa nevamwe izvi. Kuti munhu akangofa chete akashata, iri mbavha, ari muroyi, iri mhondi, vanhu ava vanounganidzwa, votanga kutsva nekusingaperi.
Votsva nekusingaperi.
Ndo panouya here pfungwa yekuti Satani ndiye anenge achivapidigura neforo.
Anenge achikangwa kangwa varimo naSatani vari mugehena imo.
Vari mugore.
Ipfungwa dzevamwe.
Ipfungwa dzevamwe idzi. Pastor Mashinya,
vamwe vane pfungwa yekuti kana munhu afa ari pakati nepakati, yekusanyanyoshata kana kusanyanyonaka, anoenda kune imwe nzvimbo inonzi purgatory. Vamwe vanoti purgatorio. Pakutaura kwavo, wachiti kunzvimbo iyoyo ndo kwaanondomira ari. Zvozodecidwa nevari pasi pano vanenge vari vakuru vechechi kuti tikamunamatira anogona kuenda
kuchitransferiwa manje.
Otransferiwa kuti uye ngasina hake kunyanya kuipa kana kunyanya kunaka, asi takuchimunamatira kuti timutransfer achibve ikoko aende kumwe. Kufunga kwevanhu.
Saka decision yetransfer kubva kuparagatorio inoitwa nevakuru vechechi vari pano pasi.
Vanenge vari pano pasi.
Kutransferiwa achienda kune imwe nzvimbo.
Kumwe manje.
Pastor Mkwada.
Vamwe ndo vanofungidzira kuti kufa kwemunhu kunoita kuti ave nesimba risina kujairika. Zvakadaro zvekuti akutogona kuriritira nekuchengeta upenyu hwakasara. Nosa muchiona kuti kana munhu akafa aine zvaakataura, hakuna anoda kupikisana naizvozvo. Kutya manje kuti simba rake rawanda paafa apa.
Paangofa rabva rawanda.
Rabva rawanda kudarike zvaanga ari mupenyu. Saka ndichafanira kunyanya kutamba zvisirizvo naye.
Saka ndo panobva pfungwa dzekuti ndiye anochengeta vapenyu, ndiye anokomborera zvakare vapenyu, muchimiro chekufa. Pastor Zvenyere, vamwe vanoti kudii?
Vamwe vanoti kana wafa uyu kari kamwana kadiki,
Alright.
kari kacheche, kari karusvawa, kanobva kazoshanduke kuite ngirosi yaMwari.
Alright. Kanobva kangotransfer.
Kanotransfer kanoite ngirosi
Alright.
yaMwari. Kana kafa kangori kacheche chete. Because vanochiti akana kumbotadza, saka kana asikazi kutadza saka kakangirosi.
Yangirosi.
Yangirosi.
Kuri ati ngirosi dzinobva patwana tucheche.
Twana tucheche. Kwete kuti dzaka iwo havasi kuti ngirosi dzakasikwa. Vanoti tukangofa turi tudiki kuti.
Alright.
Ndotwa kutoite tungirosi.
Dzatwangirosi.
Dzangirosi dzaMwari.
Pastor Mashinya?
Vamwe ndovanotiwo kana munhu achinge afa anopinduka kuita mombe kana kuita mbudzi kana kuita chero chaaita achinja manje nekuti afa amombe like kuHinduism vanobhilivha kudaro kuti munhu kana afa tinotransfer toita zvimwe zvisikwa zvakasiyana siyana.
Ndo panobva pfungwa yekuti havachadya mombe.
Hamusanyanyodzinetsa mombe because vanhu vedu akambonga vari kurarama wazowo mombe.
Wadza mombe
zvoita kunge Mwari asina kusika mombe.
Alright. Pastor Mkwada muda kuwedzera.
Ndoda kuwedzera ndichiti vamwe vanofungidzira kuti munharaunda kana mune vanhu vakuru vane influence kana wakafa iwo wavo ndo vanondogashirwa kudenga obva vanzi mweya yemadzinza yaane simba iro kana kuine zviri kunetsa zvatisiri kunzwisisa tinondobvunza iyoyo kuti tipe guidance neprotection.
Ndo vanenge vakunzi ndo vakutungamira dzinyika. Ndo vanenge vakunzi zvakare kana mune zvakunetsai munoenda kune vava.
Munondobvunza iyoyo mweya iyoyo.
Alright. Pastor Zvenyeri muda kuclosa.
Ndinoti vamwe vanongoti kana munhu echinga angofa it's just phase out, kungoparara, kungoguma kweupenyu kwangoitika. Hapana zvimwe zviripo zvakanyanya. Vamwe wavo
ndevamwe wavo. Saka patabata zvinofungwa nevanhu zvichitendwa nevanhu kana munhu achinge afa, vanhu vanotenda zvinhu zvakawanda uye zvakadini zvakasiyana. Hatimbonotarisai tione testimony yaMwari. Takuda kunzwa kupupura kwaMwari tisati tatanga kunobata chimiro chinopindwa nemunhu pakufa. Tingada kutanga tanzwa kuti Mwari akagadzira sei vanhu. Pastor Mashinya mungatitsanangurira.
Ndokumbira kuti tiverengerwe Genesis chapter 1 nditange kuerenga verse 26 na 27 ndozoerenga chapter 2 verse 7. Alright. Dzinogona kutibatsira kana ndingazoedzera rimwe zvinjeke zvakanaka. Tiverengereiwo
verse 26.
Mwari
akati, ngatiite munhu nemufananidzo wedu akafanana nesu, ngaave nesimba pamusoro pehowe dzegungwa nepamusoro peshiri dzedenga nepamusoro pezvipfuyo nepamusoro penyika yose nepamusoro pezvipenyu zvose zvinokambaira panyika. 27. Mwari akasika munhu nemufananidzo wake, akamusika nemufananidzo waMwari, akavasika murume nomukadzi. Chapter 2 verse 7.
Mozoverenga. Now muri kuona here matauriro aita Bible. Mwari achisika munhu akamusika nemufananidzo wake.
Ndizvozvo.
Akavasika murume nemukadzi vose vari vaviri mumufananidzo wake, paimage yake, pacharacter yake.
Alright.
Now zvimwe zvatinoda kuziva, chataziva izvozvi ndechekuti vanhu vachisikwa naMwari pakutanga akavasika nemufananidzo wake neimage yake necharacter yake in his own likeness. Now akashandisa chii pakuvasika kwacho? Zvakakosha tisati taziva kuti munhu kana azofa anopinda muchimiro chipi. Ndokumbira kuti vateereri vazive kuti Mwari akasika munhu sei nemakomponenzi api. Genesis chapter 2 verse 7.
Verse 7.
Yes.
Jehovha Mwari akaumba munhu neguruva revu.
Guruva ndo rekutanga ratiri kutanga.
Akafuridzira mweya woupenyu mumhuno dzake. Munhu akava mweya mupenyu.
King James version inobva yati and man became a living soul.
Alright.
Kureva kuti munhu asikwa sei apa. Mwari atora chinhu chiripo, atora ivhu ragara riri zvaranga riri, ranga risiri munhuba, ndokubva aumba, ndokubva afuridzira mweya weupenyu chibva maari. Mweya uyu wagara wanga usiri munhuba, wanga usingazivi mweya iwoyo. Ndokubva Mwari afuridzira mweya uyu mutumbi wasikwa apa. Bible ndokubva rati and man became a living soul. So chi handi chinhu chiri mukati memunhu ba asi so mubatanidzwa wemweya upenyu pamwe chete nebody dust of the ground. Regai ndidzokorore munhu chi aumbwa sei pashandiswa dust of the ground kuumba body plus breath of life kana kuti spirit of life mweya weupenyu mweya unokonzera upenyu unokonzera kurarama. Ndo kubva Bible rati munhu akabva awa a living soul mweya mupenyu saka chiri kunzi living soul ndiye munhu wacho kwete kuti mukati make mune chimwe chimunhu chirimo. But Bible ratidzidzisa panapa kuti macomponents aripo itu dust of the ground plus breath of life equals living soul. Ivhu plus mweya weupenyu equals munhu mupenyu. Now ndoda kuti muchione kuti chokwadi kana pachinzi neBible living soul munhu wacho ari kutaurwa. Hatiwerengei Ezekiel. Munoinzwa Ezekiel chapter 18 pavhesi ya20 ichititsanangurira pfungwa yakakosha kuti muone zveshuwa kuti kana munhu achinzi munhu apa right mubatanidzwa wezvinhu zviviri izvi breath of life masvika ipapo plus dust of the ground. Verengai verse 20 chete.
Ezekiel 18:20. Mweya unotadza ndiwo uchafa.
Rechirungu runoti the soul that sinneth shall die. Kureva kuti chiri kunzi soul ndiye chi munhu wacho. Kana ari anotadza hanzi anodii anofa. Maybe regai ndimbogumire ipapa.
Tinotenda Pastor Mashinya zvatiri kunzwa isusu mukutsanangura kwenyu maburitsa kuti ivhu ranga riripo asi pasina munhu.
Asasiri munhu ba.
Mweya wanga uripo uri muna Mwari asi asiri munhu. Mwari paakatora ivhu ndokuisa mweya ndo pakabva pava ne a living soul. Saka zvazviri kutoreva ndezvekuti zvinhu izvi kana zvakapatsana hapana munhu
ba.
Tingape muenzaniso wakaita sei? Ndingagona here kuti ini ndikati hupfu huri papa mvura iri papa kana zvisina kubatanidzwa zviri pamoto hapana sadza. Kurati munhu anogona kuswera nenzara hupfu huripo mvura iripo zvisina kubatanidzwa. Enda kana zvisina kubatanidzwa kana kutoti porridge hazvitoshanda toda kutenda Mwari. Kana mayo hazvishanda. Vateereri nevatariri toda kutenda zvikurusa nekutsanangura kwaita Pastor Mashinya. Tiri kutora testimony yaMwari. Testimony yaMwari iri kutiratidza kuti Mwari asati agadzira munhu akaplana ndosaka akati ngatiite munhu nemufananidzo wedu akafanana nesu. Kureva kuti Mwari akafanana nemunhu. Hazvina basa nekuti munhu wacho muchena, hazvina basa nekuti munhu wacho mutema, hazvina basa nekuti munhu wacho murefu, hazvina basa nekuti munhu wacho mupfupi, hazvina basa nekuti vhudzi rake idema kana kuti harirebe. Munhu wese zvisinei nechimiro chake akafanana naMwari. Asi mukugadzirwa kwake kwakaiswa zvinhu zviviri sekutsanangura kwaita Pastor Mashinya. Pastor Mukwada, toda kuti mutibatsirewo mhuka dzakagadzirwa sei?
Alright. Da kuti tiverenge kuna Genesis chapter 2 pavhesi 19 kuti tione kuti Bhaibheri rinotsanangura richiti kudini pamusoro pekugadzirwa kwemhuka semadzidziro ataita magadzirwo akaitwa munhu. Chapter 2 verse 19 Genesis.
Verse 19. Jehovha Mwari akavumba nevhu mhuka dzose dzesango neshiri dzose dzedenga akadziisa kumunhu kuti aone kuti uchadzitumidza mazita api. Zvipenyu zvose zvezvakatumidzwa nomunhu ndio akawa mazita azvo.
Ndiri kuda pfungwa yekuti Bhaibheri riri kubudisa kuti dzakaumbwa neguruva revhu. Kureva kuti semadzidziro atamboita munhu achisikwa, chekutanga Mwari chaari kuita kumuumba neguruva revhu, ndo zvimwe chete kuti Mwari zvaari kuita paari kusika mhuka neshiri dziri kuumbwa neguruva revhu. Then chapter 7 yaGenesis verse 21 na 22 ine imwe element inokosha yatoda kutione futi kumhuka dzesango neshiri dzedenga idzi pakusika kwadzo kuti chii chimwe chiripo kunze kwekuumbwa kwadzo neguruva revhu. Verengai tizwe pastor.
Chapter 7 verse 21 and 22. Verse 21. Zvipenyu zvose zvaifamba panyika zvikafa, zvaiti shiri nezvipfuyo nemhuka nezvinokambaira, zvose zvaikambaira panyika navanhu vose. Zvinhu zvose zvakanga zvino kufema kwomweya wohupenyu mumhino dzazvo, zvose zvakanga zviri pakaoma pasi zvikafa.
Pana paBhaibheri riri kutsanangura zvakaitika pakanaya mvura yemurowe kuti kune zvipenyu zvakafa. Saka pari kutsanangura zvipenyu da kuti muone kuti zvaiswa mumaklasi akasiyana siyana asi chiri chinhu one. Patanga kutsanangurwa mhuka, shiri, pakataurwa pamusoro pevanhu. Ndo panzi zvipenyu zvese izvi zvikuru izvo kuti muzvikamu zvazvo mukusiyana kwazvo izvi zvakanga zvine mweya wohupenyu mumhino dzazvo. Saka kuratidza kuti chero kumhuka neshiri dzatambotaura dziya kunze kwekuti dzakaumbwa neguruva revhu dzine futi mweya wehupenyu. Saka kutorarama kwadzo mubatanidzwa futi zvinhu zviri sekumbotsana kwaita Pastor Mashinya kuti munhu akaumbwa neguruva revhu akafuridzira mweya wehupenyu. Mhuka neshiri dzakaumbwa neguruva revhu dzikafuridzirwa futi mweya wehupenyu. Ende kana takuchitarisa manje pfungwa iyi muparidzi ane pfungwa yaanobva ataura ndoda kuti tione takuda kuti tibatanidze pfungwa mbiri dzezvatadzidza pakusika kwemhuka neshiri nezvanga zvichataurwa naPastor Mashinya. 3 verse 19 muparidzi 3:19. Nokuti zvinoitirwa vanakomana vavanhu ndizvo zvinoitirwawo mhuka, zvose zvinoitirwa chinhu chimwe. Mufire wemunhu ndo mufire wemhuka, zvose zvino mweya mumwe. Munhu haana paanopfuura mhuka nokuti zvose hazvina maturo. Saka pfungwa mbiri zvinani chatsanangura nezvatsanangurwa naPastor Mashinya zviri kutibatsira kuti tione kuti musikirwe wemunhu nemusikirwe wemhuka zvakafanana, hapana pazviri kusiyana. Ende muparidzi ari kukonfema izvozvo zvikanzi mufiro wemunhu ndo mufiro futi unoita mhuka, zvese zvine mweya mumwe. Saka hatigoni kuzvipatsana ngoda panozosiyana ndepi kuzongoti bedzi munhu asikwa mumufananidzo waMwari, but kusikwa neguruva revhu zvikasika mweya wehupenyu ipapo tinofanana.
Toda kutenda Mwari. Zviri kubuda panapa mukutsanangura kwaPastor Mukwada ndezvekuti mhuka dzakaumbwa neguruva revhu, mhuka dzakafuridzirwa zvakare mweya wehupenyu. Tine patingawana here Pastor Mukwada muBhaibheri pangachitiratidza manje kuti mhuka maliving souls wo zvakare?
Ndingada kuti tiverenge Revelation chapter 16 verse 3.
16 verse 3. Right, verse 3 inotiyo. Then the second angel poured out his bowl on the sea, and it became blood, as of a dead man, and every living creature in the sea died. King James Version, last part, it says, and every soul in the sea died.
Okay, saka ndiri kuda pfungwa iri kutsanangurwa kuti every New King James Version iri kuti every creature yakanga iri mvura yakafa. King James Version inoti every living soul.
Ndizvozvo ndakatoivhura pana.
Iverengai tinzwe.
Inotiko, and the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man. And every living soul died in the sea.
Saka chiri kunzi living soul zvisikwa zvemumvura tingatsanangura pamusoro pehowe, makarwe, zvinhu zvese zvakanga zviri mumvura. Saka living soul huri kubuda papi? Tiri kutsanangura mubatanidzwa zvinhu zviri uya guruva revhu nemweya wehupenyu ndo zviri kugadzira chiri kunzi living soul. Saka hatiri kutaura pamusoro pemunhu apa, tiri kutaura pamusoro pemhuka dzakanga dziri mumvura.
Very good. Toda kutenda Mwari nekutsanangura kuri kuita Pastor Mukwada nekutsanangura kwaita zvakare Pastor Mashinya vachitiratidza kuti munhu akagadzirwa sei mhuka dzakagadzirwa sei. Saka chinhu chakakosha kubata vana vaMwari, vateereri navatariri. Yatiri kutarisa panapa itestimony yaMwari. Yatiri kutarisa panapa kupupura kwaMwari mukugadzira kwavakaita ivo vanhu nekugadzira kwavakaita mhuka. Munhu mubatanidzwa zvinhu zviviri, dust of the ground nebreath of life. Mhukawo zvakare mubatanidzwa zvinhu zviviri, dust of the ground and breath of life. Zvinhu zviviri izvi zvikabatanidzwa pamunhu, munhu anobva ava a living soul. Munhu anotadza, Bible rati the soul that dies, the soul that sins dies. Kuna zvakazarwa taudzwa zvakare kuti masouls angari musi akafa. Kureva kuti fish isoul, crocodile isoul. Now, kureva kuti zviri kutobuda panapa Pastor Mkwada naPastor Mashinya, huku living soul, mbudzi living soul, ndizo pastor zvenyere, mombe living soul. Toda kutenda Mwari. Ngatichienda ito chinotarisa manje chirawe chine chekuita nekurarama. Toda kushandisa mavara echirungu anotinetsa kuisa mushona, maybe tingabatsirana kuti tikati mortality, equivalent word mushona nderipi? Tikati immortality, maybe mortality kufa,
mortality kufa,
immortality kusafa. Mazona vanhu vanotenda kuti kana munhu akafa mune chinhu mukati mavo chinoramba chichirarama, ndo chiri kunzi soul, ndo chavanoti soul ivo. But zviri kubuda kutestimony yaMwari ndezvekuti chinotonzi soul chacho munhu, chinotonzi soul chacho ishiri, chinotonzi soul chacho ifishi. Ngatichimarelatai manje varare kuti mortal tichitarisa kuma creatures. Pastor Mashinya vozotibatsira zvakare varare kuti immortality tori relate nani naMwari. Toda kungoburitsa chete kuti munhu anofa here, ende kana zvichinzi afa kufa kwacho kunosvika papi? Pastor zvenye.
Ndofunga ndichakumbira Pastor Mkwada ndibatirizve pana waRoma chapter 6 verse 12 timboone kuti munhu unganzere haagoni kufa kana echinga afa.
Alright.
Because uri kuzonzi haana kufa, paafa apa haana kufa, pane chasara.
Right.
Saka tadonzwa kuti pane chinosara here
kana munhu afa.
Kana munhu afa.
Thank you.
Pane chinosara here kana zvipenyu, chinhu chipenyu chichinga chafa.
Alright.
Zvisinei kuti ihuku, zvisinei kuti munhu, zvisinei kuti imombe. Pane chinosara here. Because taunoti tese tiri masouls.
Ndizvozvo.
Okay.
Romans 6 verse 12.
Yeah.
Naizvozvo zvivi ngazvirege kubata ushe mumuviri wenyu unofa, kuti muteerere kuchiwa kwawo.
Okay. Pangozi zvivi ngazvirege kubata ushe mumuviri wenyu unofa. Kutaura kuti zviro kwazvo munhu kufa unodini? Unofa. Asi manje tikaona pfungwa yekuti munhu unonga afa haazi kunasa kuzofa.
Alright.
Zvinonga zvichibve kuna Genesis
chapter
3 takamboibata kumashure uko, hatisode kuiverenga izvozvi. Tichiona kuti pana Genesis chapter 3 ndo panoonekwe nyoka ichitaura nambuya Eva ichiti kana mukadya muti uyu hamungafi zviro kwazvo, haina kuti hamufi. Yati kufa munofa, asi hamunyatsi kufa kuzoti fi.
Alright.
Saka munosara muine kamwe kakuziwa.
Alright.
Saka ndo panozodzi manje nevanhu unozoya achichengete mhuri yake. Mozoya muchizo. Saka kana pari kunzi hamufi zviro kwazvo, Satani unofanira kutsigire nhema dzake idzi
iye pachake.
Alright. Ndo panozoonekwe zvinhu zvakawanda wanda. Takambobata futi nyaya yezvipopo munhu uye wakafa ine hasha wamuka. Saka Satani unonga achide kuone kutsigire nhema dzake dzakasotanga kare kuna Genesis chapter 3 kuti haanyatsi kufa chaizvo kana kufa unofa but haunasi kufa.
Alright.
Saka apa pesa apa zvinhu zvichizoitika zvese izvi kuzama kuti muzive kuti munhu haana kufa, iye ari Satani anga chiti tunyaya twake.
Alright. Saka shoko raMwari riri kunyatsoburitsa pachena, maybe Pastor Mashinya, Romans 6 pavhesi ya 12 ino vara rakashandiswa nderekuti die here kana kuti mortal.
Romans 6
pavhesi ya 12
verse 12.
Nekuti shona iri kuti miviri yenyu inofa. Mumwe anogona zoti aiwa kakufa kuri kutarwa it's dying.
Therefore do not let sin reign in your mortal body.
Very good. Saka vara riri kuburitswa na pastor zvenye ndokuti mortal. Kureva kuti Mwari ari kutotaura kuti kana munhu achinzi afa gumbo harichashanda,
hapana chichaitika,
mwoyo hauchashanda, zvapera, brain everything. Mortality kurati zvaita perish. Hapana chiri pamunhu, nzeve, musoro, zvese zvazorora. Ngatidzokei tione kuna Pastor Mashinya. Vara rinoti immortal.
Yes.
Ndiani woga ane immortality pasi pezuva? Immortality taakuti rufu haruna simba pamusoro pake. Uyu chero rufu rwukatraya sei harwumugoni, asi rufu rwune simba pamusoro pemunhu. Ndosaka Bible rati munhu ari mortal.
Exactly.
Pastor Mashinya.
Thank you very much. Tatozviona kudhara kuti munhu ari mortal kureva kuti munhu anofa. Mavhesi tikaverenga ndo chimiro chine munhu kuti anofa, but Mwari manje ndiye ega asingafi. Ndida kuti ndipe vateereri mavhesi aya. One racho ndichaverenga 1 Timothy 1 verse 17. Iyi ndichaiverenga. Imwe yacho ndi 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 16. Right. Ndoda kuverenga chapter 1 verse 17. 1 Timothy ndiverengerei.
Ndoverenga.
Yes.
Zvino iye Ishe usingaperi, usingafi, usingaonekwi, Mwari woga ngave nekukudzwa nekubwinya nokusingaperi-peri. Amen.
Yes. Rendakabata panapa rechirungu riri kuti now to the King eternal.
Very good.
Immortal. Invisible. To God who alone is wise. Very be good. Honor and glory forever and ever. Amen. So it's 1 Timothy 1 verse 17. Saka riri kunyatsoratidza kuti the only one ari immortal ndimwari. Ndo zvinoita kuti 1 Timothy 6 verse 15 and 16 kuti the only one ari immortal ndimwari. Saka muri kuona kuti munhu haana immortality maari. Munhu akasikwa ari mortal. But Mwari chete pasi pezuva in the whole universe ndiye ega asingafi, ndiye ega ari immortal. Saka Satan anoda kuti tibelieve kuti munhu ari immortal futi. Nekuti pakota pastor zvenyere kuti na chapters 3 ya Genesis Satan akatotaura pa verse 5 kuti munhu ukatadza unogona kuenzana naMwari. Zvakuita sekunga ari kuedza kuti papfungwa yekuti munhu kana afa anenge ai immortal saMwari. Yet Bible harisi kutenda izvozvo. Riri kuratidza kuti munhu ari mortal, anofa. Asingafi ega ndimwari. Saka munhu akanzi ane chimwe chinhu chiri immortal maari, zvinoreva kuti munhu ane kamwe kapati kanoita kunge kamwari maari. Yeti munhu haana kufanana naMwari. Bible rinotidzidzisa kuti tichazova immortal kana tazotopiwa immortality yacho parumuko. Maybe rigani ngoerenge just one verse kuna 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Ndoda kungoverenga verse 53 yega.
Verse 53
inotaura. Yes.
Verse 53.
Verse 53.
Nokuti ichi chinovora.
Yes.
Chinofanira kufuka kusavora.
Yes.
Nechichi chinofa. Chinofanira kufuka kusafa.
Parikunzi iyo ichi chinofa, this mortal body shall put on immortality. And pane future tense shall. Kureva kuti zvinhu zvisiko izvozvi hakuna munhu anoronzi haafi sekunge Mwari. But zviri kunzi ichi chinoora ichi Kristu atozodzoka. Tasarudza havasi vanhu vese vese vachafuka immortality. But vachasarudza kuteerera Mwari, vanobvuma kuda Mwari, wofa vari mumaoko aMwari uyu. Ndo vari kunzi pavanozomutswa vachapfekedzwa muviri usingaori,
usingafi.
Mukatodzika nevhesi iyi kuchapter iyoyi kuvhesi 55 56 inobva yatodzidzisa kuti wachadadira guva kuti kukunda kwako kuri kupi. Reason yacho wanenge wapfeka muviri
usingafi. Toda kutenda Mwari zviri kubuda ndezvekuti munhu anofa.
Yes.
Ende kufa kwacho kutofa kuti ficha iko. Kufa zvekusaziva.
Yes.
Kufa zvekusaona. Kufa zvekusagona kuita chinhu.
Yes.
Zvinototendwa nevanhu kuti ndo zvinoitika pahuku.
Yes.
Ndo zvinoitika pambudzi. Ndo zvinoitika pamunhu pakufa.
Ndizvo chaizvo.
Munhu haana Pastor Mukwada paanodarika mhuka. Takafanana. Asingafi oga sekutsanangurwa kwazvaitwa apa. Ndimwari.
Ndimwari chete.
Ndizvozvo.
Mwari haarwari. Mwari hakuna chinhu chinomubata chingagone kupedza upenyu hwaMwari. Mwari woga ndiye ari immortal.
Pastor Mukwada pfungwa yanga chatsanangurwa naPastor Mashinya kuti chiri kuita kuti tife zvinezvi kubva pakupinda kwechitema panyika takapfekedzwa kufa nekuora.
Ndizvozvo.
Ndosaka muchiona kuti chero Mwari akamboita miracle yekumutsa Lazaro akazofa futi nekuti haasi tapfekedzwa immortality.
Ndizvozvo.
Saka zveupenyu hunohwe as long Jesu asati auya tisati tapfekedzwa kusafa nekusaora. Hapana miracle imwe inogona kuitwa. Tinofa nekuora.
Thank you very much.
Saka ndo panofanira tanga pagadziriswa ipapo kuti tozotaura nyaya yekusafa. Saka as long pasati pagadziriswa tiriwe kufa nekuora.
Kurati material ishi ndeyekufa iyi.
Ndeyekufa iyoyo.
Nekuora iyi.
Chero uite munhu akanaka sei zveupenyu hunohwo. But zvatakapfekedzwa
muviri waunawo
iwo chero udza aiwa akanaka hararami chindoita kuti usazorarama usagara. Takapfekedzwa kufa nekuora.
Saka kuti kufa nekuora kubve uko tinofanirwa kupfekedzwa neasingafi. Simba rekusafa nesimba rekusaora. Toda kutenda Mwari. I think ini mukuona kwangu zvakajeka Pastor Zvinyere. Zviri kuratidza kuti zviri clear.
Tiri kuona pamatauriro aita Pastor Mashinya apa pari kunzi Mwari ega ndiye usingafi. Ndo saka Satani akatsika paya achiti mukadya hamufi zviro kwazvo asi muchangwara sa Mwari. Ende kana mozopaona pari kunzi sava Mwari kana pachizi gods hapasi kunzi saMwari musiki wedenga nepasi. Saka pane kamwe kahumwari kari kuiswa muvanhu naSatani munhema dzake.
Kari kuiswa mupfungwa
dzevanhu naSatani munhema dzake kuna Genesis chapter 3. Kuti mune kamwe kahumwari karimo saka amufi. Saka vanhu vechizoto takataura naye wakauya kuhope akazototi ino kamwana kadiki kakazotosvika chiti sekuru vaya wakafa wakazo. Saka zvino nekupruvha kakusafa.
Ndio saka vanhu vachiti kana munhu ari mubox unoona munhu ari kubhaibhisa munhu kuita kunge pane apa ari kuona kuti munhu wacho akavhara maziso but ari kumureza achiita kunga kuti kabhilifi ikako kekuti munhu kana afa anenge ane zvimwe zvaava
une kakuona karipo
aita kunga aelevetwa anenge ane immortality zvakadaro zvekuti akuziva kugona zvinhu akunge Mwari.
Asi Mwari ari clear. Munhu kana afa. Kana mhuka yafa. Hakuna mhuka inodzoka. Nokuti dai dzaidzoka tatoona kuti iko magadzirirwo akaitwa munhu ndo magadzirirwo akaitwa mhuka. Dai dzaidzoka sekutenda kwevanhu ngozi mabhuroira ese aya mbudzi dzose dzakadyiwa nevanhu mombe dzese dzakadyiwa nevanhu. Pane muri kuzviona. Ende toda kutenda Mwari nekuti topiki iyi takaibata. Kana munhu afa zvechokwadi Pastor Mukwada adini afa. But muchinda wekunyepa uye ndiye akuda kuuya achiita semunhu akadini uya
semunhu akafa.
Ngatichipindai zvedu Pastor Mukwada mutibatire chinonzi kufa chii manje.
Takuti atsanangura zvakanaka kuti tinzwise kufa tinofanira tanzwisa upenyu first. Ende upenyu ndo hwatatsanangura kuti Mwari ari kumba munhu neguruva refu ndobva aisa mweya weupenyu mumhino dzake. Saka tikanzwisa izvozvo kufa kuchatinetsi kuti kunzwise kuti chii. Saka ndakuti ngonzwa kuti bhaibheri rinotsanangura chiti chii chinoitika pakufa, tine pfungwa zvatanzwa kuti kurarama kuita sei. Muparidzi chapter 12 verse 7 pastor Zvinyere verengai tinzwe.
Guruva risati radzokera kuvhu sezvarakanga rakaita, uye mweya usati wadzokera kuna Mwari wakaupa.
Inyaya yekufa iri kutsanangurwa. Guruva risati radzokera kuvhu ndiri kuda inzwi rekuti sezvarakanga rakaita. Kuratidza kuti chiri kunzi kufa iri vhesi yekurarama. Ndi Mwari arada kungopatsanura mweya nenyama. Saka na mweya uri wega, nyama iri yega, kana zvangopatsanurwa saizvozvo, chinenge chaitika ipapapa kunonzi kufa. Ene imwe pfungwa yandafarira iri kutaurwa pavhesi rataverenga iyi, pari kunzi guruva racho rinodzokera kuvhu. Chiri kumbonzi guruva miri yedu iri kutaurwa nezvai, because takaumbwa neguruva revhu. Saka paya petundi kana takuiga munhu bhokisi rine mutumbi rakuburuswa mugomba paya guruva riri kutodzokera kuvhu kwarakabva. Saka haisi dzidziso yekuti bhaibheri rinozoti kana makuiga munhu daidza wafundisi waidadza ukama kuti chiita kuti ivhu kuivhu, mweya kumweya, nyama kunyama. Kutongoona tiri kuburusa mutumbi uri mubhokisi,
ndo ivhu racho,
ivhu riri kudzokera kuvhu.
Nedzimwe nzira muri kuti kutodzika kwebhokisi pasi taakutoita ivhu kuvhu ipapa.
Ndizvozvo chaizvo, because miri yedu iyi hazvina mhosva kuti tiri watema, tiri watsvuku, takaita sei, tose takaumbwa neguruva revhu. Saka pauri kungoburuka iyo paya ivhu rakudzokera kuvhu. Mweya ukanzi unodzokera kuna Mwari wakaupa. Saka Mwari anoramba ane mweya wake, but zvinhu zviiri izvi zvapatsanurwa, ende kupatsanurwa kwazvo ndo zviri kutsanangurwa sekuti kufa. Saka hatigoni kuti munhu aenda kudenga nekuti hatisinai munhu apapa, nekuti taona kuti munhu ubadanidzwa zvinhu zviri zvapatsanurwa.
Tinotenda Pastor Mukwada. Zvamuri kuburitsa ndezvekuti iko kutenda kuti pakufa munhu aenda kudenga, kutenda kuti pasati pasikwa paine munhu angari kudenga.
Ndizvozvo.
Ende zviri wrong.
Zviri wrong.
Nekuti mweya wanga urimo muna Mwari pasina munhu. Saka mati imimi kufa iri vhesi. Shemuvhu maoko adzokera kuvhu kaya, musoro wadzokera kuvhu. Simba reupenyu radzokera kandi rasara muna Mwari. Rangarirai kuti upenyu hwatiri kutorarama iko zvino patori nelink iri kubva muna Mwari iri kuenda pamunhu.
Vhesi pastor katsvairo rati as it was.
Very good.
Zviri kudzokera as it was. Patanga tisati taveko taisaziva kuti hatiko isu.
Ndizvozvo.
Handimazviona. Hataimboziva kuti vamwe watoveko isu hatisati taveko.
Ndizvozvo.
Saka zvinodzokera as it was.
Very good.
Sezvazvakanga zvakaita.
Ngatimbotorai tone Pastor Mukwada. Mapisarima 146 pavhesi ya4 panyaya dzekufunga pakamira sei?
Verse 4. Mweya wake unobuda, iye ndokudzokera pasi pake, nezuva iro mano ake anopera. Saka kuti tigone kuva nemano nezvese kutaura kwatiri kuita, kufunga, imhaka yekuti mweya nenyama zvakabatana zviri kunza kuti tirarame. Kana zvangoparadzana, mano nekumwe kufunga kwese, uchenjeri nezvese zvatingada kuita mabasa akasiyana siyana zvapera. Saka ndopanobva pauya manyu pfungwa yekuti munhu kana afa haagoni kuchengeta wapenyu, nekuti haasisipo, haasisina mano. Zvapera zvichiuya kuburikidza nekufa kwaanenge aita ikoko.
Uchenjeri wese gone. Hakusisina.
Iyi mufungo dai kwakuruti chokwadi kuti wakafa anotichengeta. Handitaita kuti makorokoto munhu afa kuti wanokuchengeta wawanda. But hatidaro tototi nedzoi dzinoparadza, nekuti mano apera.
Pastor Zvinyere, munhu afa idishuwa mano apera, chakabva muvhu chadzokera muvhu. Mwariye pachaka anoti kana munhu pakadai muchimiro chakaita sei, titsanangurire fedha.
Okay, tinotenda. Ndichatanga ndichitsanangura paya parotaura Pastor Mukwada, then ndozokumbira Pastor Mukwada kuti mundibatirozve pana Muparidzi chapter 9 verse 5, then tichienda takadaro bichana. Ndadobata pekuti pari kunzi apa munhu kana achinga afa auziwa kuchengeta dzinza. Ndadoti muone kuti ndisatani uri kutore vanhu paamboti paya munozongwara sekungava Mwari. kuti munhu waitadze kuchengete mudzimai wake nevana vaviri ari mupenyu waitadza asi paafa wakupuwe mutoro wekuchengete dzinza rese. Saka kana pape kuchengetwe dzinza munotoona kuti unochengeta vanhu vese pasi rose ndiMwari usingafi. Saka Satani uri kutorese vanhu kunga zvekuti waone kuti munhu wafa uya chachimwari chaugona kutochengete chinyi
chimwari chachinofana kuchengeta vanhu kuti asafa but iye akatadza kuchengeta kuti asafa.
Ende uri kugone kuda kuti chengete ava kuti varamba vari wapenyu ngekukundikana kwake iye kuwe mupenyu.
Iye wakafa wacho
wakakundikana kuwe mupenyu. Saka pakukundikana kwake ndowakuchigone kuchichengete wapenyu kuti wasazofa.
Asi still wofa futi
wari kuchengetwa
accident.
Saka taida kuti muone zviri pasakada fambai mutisvikirawo zvepana Muparidzi chapter 9 verse 5 verse 6 neverse 10.
Verse 5. Nokuti wapenyu vanoziva kuti wachazofa, asi wakafa hawana chavanoziva, kunyange nomubayiro havachina.
Ndaida kuti muone kuti wapenyu ndo wanoziva. Ende kana muchide kuona kuti wapenyu wanoziva, munowaona parufu wechipopota. Mukanonoke kuvape chikafu vanoti maakutuuraya nenzara.
Right.
Which means vanotoziva kuti tinofa pana. Wapenyu vanoziva kuti tinofa. Asi iye wacho wakafa haapopoti kuti nguva yetii yadarika sei. Nguva yekuigwa muri kunonoka sei kundiwiga. Haapopoti nemhaka yekuti parotonzi hapana chaanoziva. Vanoziva wapenyu. Asi wapenyu waakurambe kuziva waude kuzvirwa neusikazivi.
Trouble.
Werenga yenyu pastor.
Nokuti havacharangarirwi rudo rwavo, nokuvenga kwavo, negodo ravo, zvose zvanguva zvapera hazvo. Havachino mugove nokusingaperi pazvose zvinoitwa pasi pezuva.
Saka havana kutsamwa kwavo kunouye kwetiri. Havana rudo rwavo runouye kwetiri. Zvase zvapera. Verse 10 inoti kudii?
Zvose zvinova naruoko rwako kuti ruzviite, uzviite nesimba rako rose, nokuti hakune basa kana zano kana zivo kana uchenjeri pashiori kwaunoenda.
Saka izvozvi uri mupenyu chiite zvaunode kuita. Ukade kutende nhema dzaSatani kuti haunyasi kufa, parotonzi ukatofa hapana chaunozoita. Even zvekuzi unozochengete dzinza zviya hakuna zvaunozotomboita. Wadaro ndiMwari musiki. Ende mukatarisa pa chapter 7 yaJob verse ya 9 na 10 inotaura kuti munhu unonga aburukire kushiori haazokwirizve. Haazodzokeri kumba kwake. Nenzvimbo yake haizomuziwi. Saka vanhu vanonga wadzikiswa haakwiri. Saka izvozvo zvega izvo kana vichitozi haakwiri zvatopedza pa verse 9 10 inozoitiwa vanhu vanononoke kunzwa. Ngoti patozozi haadzokeri kumba kwake. Because kudzoke kumba kunga agone kukwirazve.
Exactly.
Saka pakunzi haadzokeri kumba kwake, kumba ndokune vapenyu varode kubatsirwa. Saka Mwari ototi hakuna chichaitwa nemunhu unonga afa. Hapana zano raachade kutipa.
Kana basa raachagona
hapana nechaachaita. Mukazoenda zvakare pa chapter 14:21 yaJob inozi vana vake vanokudzuridzwa kana vanodzikisirwa iye haagoni kuzviona.
Asi muguwa hapana chinoitika here Pastor Zvenyeri? Muguwa panofana kuve nechinoitika kamuguwa.
Tsanangure.
Kuora
ndo chikuru.
Ndizvozvo.
Ende ndaida kuti mupaone kuti anditi panozodzi paya honye dzinovafukidza vose. Honye pachezvadzo ndiyo yetingati tiri kuprimary. Wakaite metsi wakurakura vamwe vacho vanozoti kwandai ndiri kusekondari ndakazodropa. But kuprimary taindodziita. Pane yataiti common denominator. Saka common denominator inonase kurova vanhu vese vane mari nevasina ihonye. Watsvuku newatema, warefu nei, warombo nei, honye ndo common denominator. Inorova vese. Then tobva taparara takadaro.
Tinotenda Pastor Zvenyeri zviri clear mukutsanangura kwenyu kuti kana munhu afa haana chaachaziva.
Hapachina.
Chero kuziva kuti ndakafa
haazvizive. Hanzi chero nebasa chairo. Iko kutochengeta nditi ibasa.
Ibasa.
Kana munhu afa vatariri, kana munhu afa vateereri, haana chaanoziva.
Hapana.
Haana chaachagona kuita. iko kutoti death kwacho kakutoti hauchagona waparara zvakutoda vapenyu kuti vakubatsire kutoti bhodhi yako ende muguva zvinoda vapenyu kutoti guva racho ritonzi racherwa zvakuda ava vanogona kubata mafochoro avo nevanogona kufushira futi munhu akafa vanova mwari hapana chaanoziva ngatimbotarisai kana anga ari mukristu pasita zvenyaya
panonzika kana anga anyari mukristu haachagoni kuramba achirumbidza mwari ende izvozvi vanhu vanofunga kuti wari kufa wachinamata izvozvi wari nane kune wakafa wachinamata kare tina ana Dhani wanga akaperera hapana patakazombonzwa futi pawakafa wachizombodzoka futi wachizomborumbidza tina ana Job hapana chawakazombodzoka futi wachiita even wana Maria Musande hapana chawanogone kudzoka vachiita saka hakuna munhu wakafa uchagone kurumbidza
ichokwadi
ende vamwe vanozoti kune vamwe vanonga wakafa tireverere iwo vasikazoti haachagoni kutotaura chizvireverera iwewe
ndosaka kavachiti seri kweguva
hakuna munhu hakuna muteuro
hakuna chichagonekwa nekuda kwenguva yedu chiregai tichipeta chidzidzo chedu. Pastor Mashinya,
yes,
muma minutes mashoma in seconds actually. Tunyanya ututu kwekuti munhu anozonza anoziva akafa ingoti gadzirisira itoone kunyengera kwa diabolosa.
Ndokumbira kuti tese titarire 2 Corinthians 11 verse 14 yega inogona kutibuditsira pfungwa yatiri kuda kutarisa iyo iyi.
Ichokwadi.
Right, tiverengere iyo verse 14 2 Corinthians chapter 11
verse 14.
Yes.
Naizvozvo hazvishamisi nokuti kunyange naSataniwo unozvishandura achizviita somutumwa wechiedza.
Pfungwa yandoda ndeyekuti Satani anokwanisa kuzvishandura. Ndo pfungwa yakakosha kuti vateereri wabate iyo. Satani anokwanisa kuzvishandura iye nengirozi dzake. Anotora chimiro chaanoda. Anogona kutora chimiro chemoto. Sezvo atakambodzidza kumashure. Satani anokwanisa kutora chimiro chemoto pamakuva pamakaviga vakafa venyu kuita kuti aite kuti tifunge kuti vakafa vedu ndiwo vari kuita moto wacho. Tobva tati chipoko icho. Izvi ndi Satani. Anoita zvakare zimunhu rakareba pamakuva. Mobva mafunga kuti munhu akafa. Atinoti aya magoritoto kana zvisengu ameno mazita akasiyana siyana atinoshandisa. Izvozvo zvese zvatinoona zvipokwe, magoritoto, masengu, amwe anoti zvisengu, maangels aSatani naSatani vari kuda kutsigira pfungwa yokuti munhu akafa anoziva. Havasi vanhu vakafa vanomuka zvipokwe.
Saka kana munhu afa
haamuki chipokwe.
Zvese zvekuti kune mwana ari kutaura chiri kutaura chichiklema kuti ndaasekuru.
Yes.
Ndi Satani ari kuzviita izvi.
Ndi Satani.
Munhu akafa hana chaanodini?
Chaanoziva.
Pastor Mkwada, chitipedzerai muchititsanangurira kuti vanhu vachaziva rini. Vanhu vafa havachaziva. Asi kune maKristu anofanira kuzorumbidza Mwari futi. Vachaziva rini.
Tinotenda kuti Jesu anodzoka.
Sure.
Yes.
Ende kudzoka kwa Jesu ndokucharivhesa kusaziva kwaya kwemunhu kwaakanga aitora kwemakore ese aakanga akafa kuti achiziva pakudzoka kwa Jesu. Saka maybe zvingakosha kuti tiverenge kuna vaKorinto kutanga chapter 15 verse 52 na 53 verengai nekukasika pastor zvenyere
52. Pakarepo nekubwaira kweziso nehwamanda yokupedzisira nokuti hwamanda icharira ipapo wakafa wachamutswa nekusaora nesu tichashandurwa nokuti ichi chinoora chinofanira kufuka kusaora nechichi chinofa chinofanira kufuka kusafa.
Saka bhaibheri riri kutsanangura kuti pakudzoka kwaJesu ndo pachaitwa kumuka kwavatsvene. Kana uchinge wamuka chinofa chafuka kusafa nekusaora ipapo ndo pachatanga zvekuziva. Saka gorazvi kuti munhu paari kumuswa anenge akapesera kuziva musi wakafa ndo zvaanozongorimemba zvakaitika kwemakore 80 kana ariwo anga akafa ya panenge pasina chaanoziva ozotanga futi kuziva kana wamuswa kubviswa makuva.
Tinotenda Mwari. Tine assurance kubva kuna Mwari yekuti makuva achavhurika. Vakafa vachitenda vachanzwa inzwi remwanakomana waMwari. Ipapo vanenge vakafa vachitenda ndopa vachatanga kuziva. Asi vakafa vasingatendi vanombokondinya vakadaro vachamukawo pavo. Vateereri nevatari tinoda kutenda netopiki yatanga tiri kubata, yatabata pamwe chete, human state in death, chimiro chevanhu pakufa. Tadzidza magadzirirwo akaitwa munhu, tikadzidza magadzirirwo akaitwa mhuka, tikadzidza chimiro chemunhu pakufa, tikadzidza chimiro chemunhu chimiro chemhuka pakufa. Tikadzidza zvakare kuti tichatanga kuziva musi unodzoka Jesu ndokunge kana Mwari atendera kuti tife Jesu asati adzoka. Saka zvese zvatanga tichibata zviya kuti kana munhu afa anochengeta vamwe, munhu akafa hachengeti. Kana munhu afa anomboenda kuparagatorio ombonochenurwa, aiwa hazviko zvese izvi. Ndi Satani ari kuzvishandura kutsigira kunyengera kwake kwekutanga. Toda kutenda zvikuru sa Pastor Mashinya, toda kutenda Pastor Mkwada, toda kutenda Pastor Zvinyere, toda kutenda zvakare timu yedu iri kushanda yemedia, totenda zvakare vateereri vedu navatariri vedu. Ngatisaitei ukama nevanhu vakafa. Satani ari kuclaima achiti vanhu vakafa. Isu ngatiitei ukama naMwari. Eni chinouya chichiti ndiye akafa amuka, ibvai maziva kuti ndi Satani. Toda kukumbira kuti Pastor Mkwada vatinamatiriwo ngatinamatei zvedu.
Baba edu anoera vari kudenga, toda kukutendai kuti Bhaibheri rinojekesa nyaya dzinonetsa mukati muupenyu hwedu. Nokumbira kuti sekudza kwataita tisunungurwe mukutenda nhema, tisatyiswa nemuvengi pane zvaanouya tichinyengera achiita. Mugotibatsira kuponeswa kuburikidza neshoko iri. Tatenda yadi shoko kudenga kuti matinzwa pakunamata kuno, nekuti tanamata nekutenda muzita raJesu. Amen.
Amen.
Ndipe Bhaibheri nyenyedzi yapiwa, vafambi vese kutungamira, zvampupurizvo zvisingazodzimi, kujeka kwangu kunotipenyera. Ndipe Bhaibheri masoko machene, ndinotevera kujeka kwaro, zvikomedzo zvidzidzo mutemo nerudo zvese zvakumbanamo. Ndipe Bhaibheri apo ndatambudzwa ngezvitema neurombo hwazvo. Ndipe mazviyo Jesu ataura, kunditondedza aripo pedyo. Ndipe Bhaibheri masoko machene, ndinotevera kujeka kwaro, zvikomedzo zvidzidzo mutemo nerudo zvese zvakumbanamo. Ndipe Bhaibheri ndinofamba naro, rinditseure nezvakaipa, mwenje weruponeso munedima, kundipangidza nzira kudenga. Ndipe Bhaibheri masoko machene, ndinotevera kujeka kwaro, zvikomedzo zvidzidzo mutemo nerudo zvese zvakumbanamo. Ndipe Bhaibheri mwenje weupenyu, usingagumi newakanaka, rindiratidze rujeko rwaJesu, rindionese mbiri kudenga. Ndipe Bhaibheri masoko machene, ndinotevera kujeka kwaro, zvikomedzo zvidzidzo mutemo nerudo zvese zvakumbanamo. Ndipe Bhaibheri masoko machene, ndinotevera kujeka kwaro, zvikomedzo Chitsito mutemo nerudo seja kumbana mo Chikumeto chitsito mutemo nerudo seja kumbana mo Chikumeto chitsito mutemo nerudo seja kumbana mo
Master, the tempest is raging, the billows are tossing high. The sky is overshadowed with blackness, no shelter or help is nigh. Carest thou not that we perish? How canst thou lie asleep when each moment so madly is threatening, grabbing the angry deep? The winds and the winds shall obey my will. Peace, 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 peace. Whether the wrath of the storm-tossed sea, or demons, or men, or whatever it be, no water can swallow the sheep will lie. The master of ocean and earth and sky, they all shall sweetly obey my will. Peace, 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 still. They all shall sweetly obey my will. Peace, 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 still. Master, with anguish of spirit, I bow in my grief today. The depths of that heart are the trouble. Awaken and save, I pray. Torrents of sin and of anguish sweep all my sinking soul, and I perish, dear Master. Oh, hasten and take control. The winds and the waves shall obey my will. Peace, 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 peace. Whether the wrath of the storm-tossed sea, or demons, or men, or whatever it be, no water can swallow the sheep will lie. The master of ocean and earth and skies, they all shall sweetly obey my will. Peace, 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 peace. They all shall sweetly obey my will. Peace, 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 peace. Master, the terror is over, the elements sweetly rest, and sun is uncovered the mirror, and heaven's within my breath. Linger, O blessed Redeemer, leave me alone no more. And with joy I shall make the blessed harbor, and rest on the peaceful shore. The winds and the waves shall obey my will. Peace, 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 peace. Whether the wrath of the storm-tossed sea, or demons, or men, or whatever it be, no water can swallow the sheep will lie. The master of ocean and earth and skies, they all shall sweetly obey my will. Peace, peace, Jesus still. They all shall sweetly obey my will. Peace, peace, be still.
I greet you all, my dear brothers and sisters in Christ. I want to invite you to come with me into the Word of God. And I've chosen a title that is Air Force One. I believe God has something special to tell us out of His Word. And so we're going to begin by reading from the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse number 31, through chapter 2, verse 3. But before we do that, will you pause with me for a moment of prayer? Let us pray. Our kind and most gracious Heavenly Father, may glory and honor come to you, Lord, for only you are worthy to be praised. Our prayer, may you open our eyes so that we may see wonderful things out of your law. Amen. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse number 31. We are reading right at the tail end of the creation account when God made the world. This is now right at the end. Something beautiful is tucked right at the end. And it says here, God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning. That was the sixth day. So the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work that had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day, made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Oh, indeed, may the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his word. Talking about Air Force One, this is that aeroplane or aircraft that is used by POTUS. And POTUS is an acronym for President of the United States. That is the United States of America. And it has been nicknamed or given different names, this aeroplane. It has been called Queen of the Skies because it rules the airspaces. And some have called it a flying fortress. Others have termed it as the flying White House. It is the flying White House. And they say that when this aeroplane lands at any airport in the world, it is emphatically and imposingly, it emphatically and imposingly stamps American confidence and authority. So you cannot ignore it. It is so powerful, even in how it, when it lands at any airport. Now, the most interesting thing, or one of the most significant things for us to understand in relation to the message that I'm sharing with us today is that, yes, we can basically say Air Force One, that aeroplane that we're used to seeing in baby blue and so on, those blue colors and so that were chosen for that aeroplane by President J.F. Kennedy before his assassination back then. And so it is an aeroplane that has been used much, by U.S. presidents, and it's so dearly loved. Almost all presidents, when they come to the end of their terms in the United States, one of the things they almost never fail to mention is how they are going to miss flying on Air Force One. Now, one of the important things to understand, Air Force One is not actually an aeroplane, although we usually associate it with that aircraft when we see it. Air Force One is actually a code name. It is a code name for the aeroplane when the president is on board. So there are actually two identical aeroplanes that have the registration numbers 28000 and 29000. They're identical they're identical. So none of them is Air Force One unless and until the president is on board. So the moment the president boards, a minute before the president boards, it's not Air Force One. The moment the president of the United States steps on board, immediately it is Air Force One. The moment he disembarks from that aeroplane, immediately it's no longer Air Force One. So Air Force One is actually a code name that is used by control tower when the president of the United States is on any of these two aircrafts, whichever he may be using at any time. And so that is what Air Force One is. And today we're talking about what God did, the kind of Air Force One that God created at the end of the creation week. There is something special that God did when he made the Sabbath. There's an extra day that he made, and he made it into a kind of Air Force One. You see, when you look at the days of creation, the creation account, it is so beautiful. We can look at the days in sequence, knowing that day number 1, God made light. And then day number 2, God separated the waters above from the waters below, and he made the sky. Day number 3, he made the dry land appear out of the water, and he also made vegetation. So the seas and the continents were made, and then vegetation were made on day number 3. And we know that on day number 4, God made the luminaries, the sun, the moon, and the stars. And day number 5, God made the birds and the fishes. Day number 6, God made land animals, and he crowned it all by creating humankind. And then, and then day number 7, God rested. He paused. He stopped everything that he had been doing. And so, when you look at this is the sequence, but there is something else that we should never miss or forget. That is, these days are actually in pairs. They are actually paired in a system which is known as form and fill. What I mean is this. When you look at the first 3 days, they actually directly correspond to the next 3 days. So the first 6 days exist in pairs. What I mean is, day number 1, when God made light, it corresponds to day number 5, which is the first of the second set of the next 3 days. So day number 1 from the first 3 days corresponds to day number 5, the first, to day number 4, not day number 5, to day number 4, which is the first of the next 3 days. So on day number 1, God makes light. On day number 4, he makes luminaries, which produce light or reflect light. Okay, like as in the case of the moon. And then day number 2, God made the skies, and he put some waters below. And day number 5, he made birds that fly in the skies, which were made on day number 2, and fishes that swim in the waters. And then day number 3, God made dry land to appear out of the oceans, and he also made vegetation. And day number 6, which corresponds to day number 3, God made land animals that live on this land, that was made on day number 3, and feed from the vegetation, also made on day number 3. And then, so you see that these 6 days correspond one to another, have correspondence, they are in pairs. But then God makes an extra day, and that is day number 7, which has no pair to it. And God doesn't fill it with something, but God himself comes into it, and he fills the day with his presence, with his holiness, with his sanctity, with his righteousness, with everything that he is. And that makes this day special. That is what makes Sabbath the day that it is. A day that is holy, that is blessed, that is set apart, that is set aside. Sometimes as human beings, we can come up with an idea that, it doesn't matter. I can make my own Sabbath. I can choose Tuesday to be Sabbath. I can choose Sunday to be Sabbath. I can choose Thursday to be my Sabbath, and so on and so on. No, you cannot do that. That cannot happen. You can only fool yourselves and whoever else may be careless enough to believe in you. Because even the plane in the United States, you cannot change its status from being the ordinary plane and into, into Air Force One. You can't change it. Only when the President of the United States steps on board does its status change from being an ordinary aircraft, even though it's quite extraordinary, into being Air Force One. And so I'm saying, brothers and sisters, God made all the days of the week, but he chose to board on one of these days. And because of God's presence in this seventh day, its status changes. When God is on board, it's no longer an ordinary day. It's no longer an ordinary 24-hour period. It is a time that is sacred. It is a time that is holy. It is a time that is set aside. It is, in short, Air Force One. Because our Creator is on board. He took his residence. He is on board on the Sabbath. And so that is the Sabbath day. To put it across from a point of history, to put the point across from history, in 1974, Richard Nixon resigned. He resigned after there were so many scandals in his administration, and so he was left with no option but to resign as President of the United States. And so he took his flight, his final flight on Air Force One, and he was flying from Washington, D.C. to California. But while he was in flight, the new president was sworn in Washington, D.C., and that was Gerald Ford. And the moment it was pronounced that, congratulations, Mr. President, the moment Gerald Ford was made president, immediately that aeroplane status changed from Air Force One, and it then became SAM 2700. It changed the status mid-flight. It took off as Air Force One with Richard Nixon on board, and it landed in California as SAM 2700. 2700. It had changed the status. Why? Because the president, Nixon was no longer president. The president was now, Ford. He was now the president, and he was not on that aircraft. And that's why it landed with a different code altogether. It was no longer Air Force One. So the Sabbath is so because God made it so. It is a day that is set aside. The moment God steps into that time, it changes from being ordinary and it becomes extraordinary time that is called the Sabbath. So looking at this aircraft, it may almost look like these aeroplanes that are used for Air Force One. They are identical. They are Boeing 747s of the 200B series. And they may look like aeroplanes that you use to go for vacation and so on, because there are many others, many other Boeing 747s that are flying people around every day. And so these aeroplanes might look from a distance, from outside, they might look like, they're just painted differently, but nothing could be further from the truth, because these aeroplanes are extraordinary. They are extraordinary in just about every way. They are not your ordinary aeroplanes that you hop on to travel to another part of the world and so on. They are quite extraordinary. In fact, they've been termed as marvels of military engineering. Now, when these aeroplanes are made by Boeing, the 747s, they were told that they cost about 370 million a piece. Each one of them costs about 370 million. And so when the US government buys from Boeing, it's delivered as a brand new aeroplane. And after they're delivered, they're then given over to the military. And they strip them and remake them into the aeroplanes that are suitable for transporting the President of the United States. And there are so many fixtures that are put in there to ensure there's efficiency, there is high security, the highest degree of security, and also luxury, epitome of luxury. We are actually told that, for example, each of these aeroplanes has 2 refrigerators, 2 kitchens. Each of the kitchens fitted with a refrigerator, costing $12 million. Each refrigerator, and they can actually have enough food, for 2,000 meals on board at any time. There should be, even as I'm talking right now, there is enough food on these aeroplanes, enough for 2,000 meals. These aeroplanes are designed, or rather, they are made, like ordinary, but then they are turned into extraordinary machines so that they are suitable for ferrying the President of the United States. And they have amazing capabilities, that details that are given about them, capable of withstanding even nuclear blasts and things like that. And they're capable of flying indefinitely. And we're told it's one of perhaps the safest place for the President of the United States is being aboard Air Force One. When that plane takes off and it goes into the skies, they say it is an impregnable fortress. It's just an amazing. It's not ordinary. So, brothers and sisters, when you look at the Sabbath day, it may look ordinary. It's a 24-hour block of time, just like Thursday, just like Wednesday, just like Sunday, but God did something to this period of time that he never did to Tuesday, that he never did to Wednesday, that he never did to Friday. God did something that he never did to Sunday. He did it for this time. Just like these planes, when they come from Boeing, they look like another ordinary 747, Boeing 747. But after they are received, after they are delivered to the US government, something extra is done. I said already, the planes are bought for, this amount of $370 million. $370 million. But by the time the US military are done with the plane, they would have done, it would be worth about over $3 billion. It would be worth over $3 billion by the time they are done. That's quite amazing. The kind of work that goes into the fixtures and everything. That same aeroplane, by the time they're done, it's no longer ordinary. It's the same period of time, 24-hour period of time. But God did something to this day. He put some fixtures of blessings, and he put some fixtures for you, for your benefits, for your comfort, for your blessing, for your family, for the nation, for the world. God did something to the Sabbath, to this period of time, that he never did for any of the others. All these other days are just ordinary 747 Boeings. Yes, they fly. Yes, they get us from one day to the next. Yes, they are blocks of time. But when you come to the Sabbath, this is now Air Force One. Because in this block of time, after God made it, he didn't just end by making it the way he made Tuesday and Sunday or the other days. He then did something extra to this day. He added some fixtures, because the Bible tells us that by the 7th day, God had finished the work that he had been doing. So on the 7th day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it, he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. So God did stuff to this other day. He put in blessings, and he fixed in benefits, and he fixed in for your blessing, for your comfort, for your convenience, for your God did stuff to the Sabbath day that he never did to any of the others. So this one is not an ordinary day. This is Air Force One in time. And that is what Sabbath is about. And we are told that when Air Force One flies, it uses about $337 per hour. Wow. 200, I mean, almost $250,000 per hour. Every hour that it is up there in flight. So God blessed the Sabbath day and he made it holy. It is unique. It is tailor-made to be of physiological benefit to you, psychological rest. It is meant for your social connection with the family. When you look at the Sabbath command, look at how it says in Exodus chapter 20. Maybe let's just quickly take a look at that. In Exodus 20 from verse number 8, where it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor. In other words, those are the Boeings. Yes, you can do stuff with them. But this one is Air Force One. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath of the Lord your God. It is the Sabbath. Someone will say, well, to me it's not Sabbath. To me it's not special. But it's saying it is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. Unless you actually say that I have no connection with that God who created. I have no relationship with him. So I do not recognize his Air Force One. To me, his Air Force One, the one that is on board, is an ordinary aircraft. I have my own Air Force One. Maybe some people might have that position, but I hope not. Because God's desire is that the Sabbath will be a blessing to you as well as to me. And so it says here, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. That is Air Force One. He is on board on this day. On it you shall not do any work, neither you nor your son or your daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and made it holy. There is something extra that was done to this day, which was not done to any other. And because God is in it, that is what makes it Air Force One. That is what makes it special. That is what makes it unique. So the Sabbath was given for our physical benefit because we rest. The Sabbath was given for our, spiritual connection with our Creator, with our Maker. Every week, God has a date with you and I, and He invites us, to the Sabbath. And in addition to that, the Sabbath is a blessing to the family for social connection and vitality. You know how busy our lives are today, how busy we are, running to and fro, trying to do this and that. Some parents get out of their houses long before their children wake up, and they come back long after the children have gone to bed. And this is what may happen even as husbands and wives. Sometimes we are so busy during the week trying to make ends meet, fending for the family and doing all that which is necessary. But God says you can do all that stuff on these 6 days, these ordinary Boeings. But this one, it's my Air Force One. On this one, stop everything. Come, let's have quality time together. Not only you and God, but with your family as well. Even those who are helpers in your company, in your family, let them stop whatever they're doing. Let's find time to connect and be together. And, so socially, it brings connections. And also, it's of benefit even to the environment, because it reminds us that all these things around us, be they trees and rivers and whatever it is, animals, the fauna and flora, all these things were created by a loving God, and has given us duty and responsibility to take care of these resources, not to plunder them indiscriminately, not to destroy and deface this planet, and to drive some species of animals into extinction. Sabbath means that we care for the environment. And so, in addition to that, Sabbath, there are so many blessings and benefits, even economically. The Sabbath is a blessing because the Sabbath command does not begin by saying, does not only have the part of resting, it also commands that 6 days you should labor. I should work, you should work, we all should work 6 days. So Sabbath actually encourages a productivity, that people should be productive. Look at, people talk much about the Jews and how successful they are wherever they go. One of the things is that they take seriously this instruction that during the 6 days, one should labor. You should do your very best. Whatever your hand finds to do in the 6 days, do the best. Give it your best shot. But on the Sabbath, rest. So this rhythm of work, rest, work, rest, work, if it is maintained and prayerfully implemented, it brings for us rich dividends. The Sabbath, that is the Air Force One that God created. There are so many blessings and benefits that we get out of the Sabbath. And so it is no wonder then that when we come to the book of Mark, this is Mark chapter 2, verse number 28, where Jesus says in these words that, and he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. He is aboard Air Force One. That is what makes the day different, unique, special, holy, set aside, because the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. Just like the President of the United States is also the Commander-in-Chief and the one who changes the status of an aircraft into Air Force One. The moment the president is on board, it's Air Force One. The moment he disembarks, it's not Air Force One anymore. If God never set his foot into Tuesday to make it that holy, it's not Sabbath. If God never set his foot into Sunday to make it holy, no matter how much we may do or scream or whatever, it will never be Air Force One, because God chose the Sabbath or the seventh day, and because of that, it is special. And Jesus says the Sabbath was made for man. Just the way that aircraft is reconfigured and engineered to be suitable for ferrying the President of the United States in comfort, security, and luxury. The Sabbath was made for you and your family. God, handmade it, we can say. He engineered it. He tailor-made it to be suitable for humanity. Just like he created apples, bananas, and so on for our nutritional benefit and nourishment. He also did something with a portion of time, and that time is called Sabbath. That's why Jesus says here, the Sabbath was made for man. Are you a man? Are you a human being? The Sabbath was made for human beings. This is man in the generic sense. So the Sabbath was made for humanity. It was made for you and I, made for you and my family, made for our nations, made for the world indeed. Can you imagine how different the world would be had we taken seriously this, the blessing of the Sabbath? That there would not be these ethnic tensions, tribal wars, interracial wars, subjugation of other peoples, dispossession, and all these kind of things. All these hostilities that we see in our world, there would be just one pulse of brotherhood. All the jangling discords of our world would be transformed into a symphony of beautiful brotherhood and sisterhood. What a different world it would be. No animals that are going extinct, taking care of our forests, taking care of our bodies in honor of the creator of it all. The Sabbath, families would not be falling to pieces. Families intact, healthy, happy, productive, progressive. The Sabbath, that is, God's great gift to humanity. So when the maker of humanity says the Sabbath was made for men, I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. He knows the kind of fittings, the kind of blessings that he put in there, which are meant for the benefit of humanity. We may never even exhaust them or even fully understand until we are saved to sin no more. And so the Sabbath was made for you as it was made for me. I love to be aboard. I would love to be aboard Air Force One. I can maybe never have the opportunity to board Air Force One in the United States, but there's Air Force One which God has made for everybody, because God himself is on board, and that is the Sabbath. He's on board, and it is your privilege, and indeed it is your joy to also board together with him. And there's something else, that is the book of Isaiah chapter 58, where the Bible says here from verse number 13 and verse number 14. That means it's conditional. The word if introduces a conditional statement. So it says, if you keep your feet from breaking the Sabbath and from doing as you please on my holy day. This is God's holy day. It is his, not holy day, but holy day. On my holy day. If you don't treat it like an ordinary Boeing, and you know that this is Air Force One, from doing as you please on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight and the Lord's holy day honorable, and if you honor it by not going your own way and not doing as you please or speak idle words, then is introducing the other part of the conditional statement, because the conditional statement has two parts. A protasis, that is the condition, and the apodosis, that is, so what will happen if you do this? So it says, then you will find your joy in the Lord, and I will cause you to ride in triumph on the heights of the land, and to feast on the inheritance of your father Jacob. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken. This is signature, God's verbal signature, guaranteeing that if you do this, God says, I will see to it myself that you will be blessed until you are thoroughly blessed. And he means this for you, he means this for your family, he means this for anybody who will take the Sabbath seriously and will regard it as God's holy day, and will regard it as God's Air Force One, as special, as unique, set aside, and as a blessing that God has given to humanity. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, the Sabbath is a blessing with social, physiological, spiritual, environmental, ecological. All these blessings are fitted into this Air Force One. So, when we talk about the Sabbath, it is God's blessing to you and I. One person was talking about Air Force One, and they said that these aeroplanes, or these aircraft, the twin that we talked about, the identical aeroplanes, they say they are so designed in such a way that anything bad ever happening to them in flight, chances of anything wrong that may happen to them as to bring it down, from slim to none. Chances are from slim to none that anyone can ever bring it down. Slim to none. And they say that, and I want to, on the basis of that, also say that chances that anything will ever happen to the Sabbath to remove it, they are not slim to none, but rather they are from 0 to none. Chances that the Sabbath will ever be done away with, they range from 0 to none. The Sabbath was there in Eden. The Sabbath will also be there in the new heaven and the new earth that God makes. And this is what the book of Isaiah 66, verse number 23 says, when it tells us here that, verse number 23, for from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to the other, all mankind will come and bow down before me, says the Lord. So God says, when I make everything new, all flesh will come and worship me, and from one new moon to the other, and from one Sabbath to the other. In other words, nothing is going to bring the Sabbath down. Oh, of course, Mr. Constantine, you tried in 321 AD when you introduced the Sunday sanctity, and so on. Of course, many people have subscribed to that platform, but more and more people are realizing that God has his own Air Force One. That other one is Constantine's Air Force, and so on, and many others that people can have. But God has his Air Force One, and the Sabbath is God's invitation in time for you to board together with him. I've seen journalists, great journalists who have been on board on Air Force One when the president is there. You know, they come off the aeroplane with things to remember that they were once on Air Force One, because it is history making for anybody to set their foot when the president is on board. And the Sabbath is God's invitation for you to come onto Air Force One, for you to board together with the maker of the universe, for you to board with the creator of it all. And he says, come, not alone, come with your family. There are many blessings that await, that God has specially engineered, that is designed for your benefit and for mine. I mean, the Sabbath, it is God's blessing. It is God's own Air Force One, and everybody is invited. Nobody is excluded. Will you accept the invitation? What a blessing for the millions and millions around the world who have already said yes. May we remember to keep on saying yes each week as this flight comes our way, you know, so as it comes our way. And may God bless you. May God bless us all as we remember God's Air Force One. Let us pause and close our eyes in prayer. Our kind and most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for your marvelous work of creating. This is a beautiful and majestic world that you made. Thank you for bringing us into existence also. And more than that, you have chosen to lavish so many blessings upon us. And thank you for the Sabbath, a perpetual reminder that you are the creator and you are the only one to be worshipped. May your name be praised. May your name be glorified. And I thank you for all the families, all the boys and girls, men and women, young and old, everybody out there who have accepted the Sabbath. And there are others who are praying about it, that they may gain better understanding. Lord, may you reveal yourself to them in ways they will best understand. But we just want to thank you, Lord. May your name be praised. May your name be glorified. Thank you for your Air Force One. Amen.
Kosije sungikube pagati wamalingo aduba yonkindawo wenatwa langifihle iskondi so esako Kosije sungikube
jengenga netuliswa ungatu lisulwanje amanza yalalela titulani wenambu siwolwandle Nkosije sungikube ngangonde la okwini namaza ekubuza esita ukuphumla mangiqi kesfubeni mangizwe uthimbi ungesabi kubeka mangizwe uthimbi ungesabi kubeka mangizwe uthimbi ungesabi kubeka mangizwe uthimbi ungesabi